Hello, everyone, and welcome to Optimus Fantasy Football. I am Nate Polvogt here on the holiest of holy days in the NFL. The 2025 NFL Draft kicks off here in about 2 minutes and 52 seconds until we wait 15 minutes to find out that Tennessee is taking Cam Ward. But I digress. I am not the only one here. I am joined by my co-host, the one and only Kacey Kasem. You can catch us most Thursdays during the flagship show. My other co-host, Mr. Kevin Tompkins, you can catch him with me every Monday morning and Friday morning. And boy, this Monday morning is going to be a doozy going back through this draft, talking about all of the insanity, 257 picks worth. And we are joined by the newest member of Optimus Fantasy. You know him as @BarelyFantasy on the socials, Mr. Evan Sather. Guys, how are we all doing tonight? Kacey, let's start with you. Are you excited for what your Cowboys might do here with the 12th pick?
I am excited. Let's go. I'm going to represent right now with my Travis Frederick baby. That's what I had to go downstairs and grab real quick. I'm excited to see what goes on.
Yeah, Kevin, this should be interesting. Are you hoping for a lot of trades?
I'm just hoping everybody has fun. I'm hoping nobody, gets alcohol poisoning in Green Bay. I am hoping that I make it through this stream. Hopefully Green Bay does not draft a skill position player, or I will be dipping into the bottle of gin that Matthew Berry got me a couple years ago. Other than that, let's have some fun. It's the longest possible time before more NFL draft talk. So look, you only live once. YOLO, as the kids say.
No, I'm completely with you. Evan, you are a Bears fan. You're over there in Chicago. They've got the 10th pick. What are you hoping they do there at number 10 tonight?
Ryan Poles is definitely looking to trade up with somebody. I don't know if it's going to be the Browns. I don't know if it's going to be the Giants. We just have to wait and see what he cooks. And I think it's pretty obvious at this point to anybody paying attention that I think he really, really wants Jeanty, along with the Jaguars, along with the Raiders. But even then, the Raiders are pressuring their GM and owner in their war room to go get offensive line. So still a lot with the top 10 up in the air.
Yeah, the Bears need to go offensive line, but if they do move up, they're trying to get Jeanty. However, we are hearing a little bit here. We've got this question here. Good day, legends. First of all, from the one and only Vince Mapstone. He's saying he is already bricked like those good people in Green Bay are about to be, but he wants to know if we've got any scoops. Speaking of Ashton Jeanty, it sounds like Jacksonville maybe trying to move up to 2 here ahead of Cleveland Browns making that pick. Likely that would be for Jeanty. Kacey, if this happens, if Jacksonville moves up to 2 and takes Ashton Jeanty, is Travis Hunter still around at 5? Because we're assuming they swap those picks.
As he asked me, like I'm the expert here who knows this stuff, you might want to ask these other fellas who know more. But yeah, I could see that. How about that? We'll leave it like that.
All right, Kevin, do you think Hunter's still around at 5 if they do make that swap?
He shouldn't be. God, no. Like that's a miscarriage of justice if Travis Hunter is there at 5. I'm sorry. He's the second best player. Actually, he's probably between him and Abdul Carter, the top player. You could make a case for either guy depending on what you need, but like Hunter should not be there under any circumstances. In a weak quarterback class, it's pretty heavy on the lines and at corner. Like, he shouldn't be there.
Oh, and I completely agree. Evan, so does he go at 3 to the Giants then? If Travis Hunter passes that 2 pick, do you think he lands with the Giants?
If the Giants were smart, they'd go Abdul Carter. And they have gotten a little better over the last couple of years with making smarter picks, but that doesn't necessarily mean they picked the right characters either. We saw what happened with Evan Neal. So if they were smart, they're going to go Abdul Carter. But if not, they're going to go Jackson Dart, and I'm going to laugh my ass off on stream. I don't know how much I'll embarrass myself, but it's going to happen.
I liked what I saw out of Dart at the Senior Bowl. That said, he's not a number 2 pick to me at all. We've got some people in the chat that think that the Jags might be trying to move up to get Travis Hunter instead of trying to get Ashton Jeanty. I suppose that could be. My gut's been telling me that the Browns want to reunite Hunter and Shedeur. I said it on the Coventry RotoWire stream on Monday. I think there's a chance that Cleveland waits and gets Shedeur at 33. Evan, do you think that there's anything to that? Do you think Shedeur will still be around at pick number 33?
Shedeur Sanders is the one prospect I cannot tell where he's going to go, but I I would be very surprised if he went top 10 because I think that's way too high for a guy like him who I firmly believe Shedeur Sanders needs to sit behind a veteran and develop. I don't think he's NFL ready.
Kevin, how do you feel about Shedeur Sanders? Is he a first round? Do you have a first round grade on him? Do you think that he's worthy of a first round pick, or is this a guy we should be looking at second round or later?
I'm going to tell you right now, I am total vibes based on this NFL draft because admittedly, I do not watch college football. I do think that the FBS is mostly a waste of time with how, we can get into all that with NIL, stuff like that. Big FCS guy, though. And NDSU did play Colorado, in the beginning part of the season. Fun game. It's a weak quarterback class overall. When you got a guy like Cam Ward, when you got, teams that need these quarterbacks that have a pretty thin pool, like you're already talking about Jalen Milroe is like the Malik Willis of Dorian Thompson-Robinson's with this draft class. Like if you're talking about that guy being at the end of the first round, you got issues. Like Cam Ward and any other like class would probably be a teens pick. I mean, so Shedeur Sanders is probably just based on need. Like I feel like a team will go up and grab him, but like this feels like this isn't the class to like trade up for a quarterback unless you have some serious ass convictions about one of these guys.
Well, I've heard analysts say that it's as bad as Cam Ward would have been QB7 in last year's class, which I have a hard time saying he's that far down the road. But you know what, guys, let's talk about this QB class here. Case, let me get you into this screen. These are right now the top 5 quarterbacks as I have them in my rookie rankings. We got Cam Ward at 1. He's obviously the first overall pick. He's going to have the best draft capital of any of these guys. Dart at 2, Sanders at 3, Milroe at 4, Tyler Shuck at number 5. The boy who is now retired from the industry, but we all know very well. He has been texting me like mad the last 2 days saying that Tyler Shuck is going to the Rams. Kevin, how does that make you feel? I see you shaking your head over there.
Like when Tyler Shuck was on a college roster as a freshman behind junior Justin Herbert when Jalen Milroe was in middle school. Like, what are we honestly doing with Tyler Shuck? Like, he feels more Brandon Weeden than anything we've seen in a long time. Like, what's he got? Like 3,000 passing yards in like 7 seasons, just something insane. Like, look, he hasn't been healthy for like almost any season. He's been around since like 20. He was in the same recruiting class as Trevor Lawrence. Like, just to give you guys some context there. Like, Shuck could probably be fine, but it's really tough to draft a 7th-year college player with any sort of draft capital, expecting it to be the future. I mean, maybe because your quarterback is like 39 years old or 38 or whatever, but God, like, miss me with Tyler Shuck.
I like the comparison though. Like that helps me out when you said Brandon Weeden. I'm like, okay, because like I don't watch college football at all, 0%. But I love Dynasty with a freaking passion. And when you put it in terms like that for me, yeah, I mean,
so it looks like I wasn't alone getting blown up here. Vince Mapstone in our chat, who knows who, was also getting blown up about Shuck. Here's what I'll say. This is the same team that took a shot on the kid. I can't remember his name now at this point. The kid out of Georgia that was like 45 years old coming out of college a couple of years back. Yes.
Stetson Bennett,
yes. Yeah. Yes, Stetson Bennett. So, okay, Shuck's a little older. He had 7,700 yards passing in college. That was in 6 seasons where he accrued stats. He was indeed Justin Herbert's backup. Jalen Milroe. Let's talk about him real quick, guys. Before they do this pick here, it's coming up quick. Is he a first-round talent? Kevin, do you think this is a guy who goes in the first round? Do you think he slips in there just on his rushing ability alone?
I mean, we've seen NFL teams will, they'll prioritize having like the rushing element from a quarterback, but there are still some teams that are stuck in like 1980s football that do not think about like that whatsoever. They want the prototypical 6'5", 230-pound quarterback that stands in the pocket. And now with like today's NFL, he's got to have a little bit of mobility. But Milroe's a liability with with his arm. Like he is purely a fantasy pick right now. Well, and if you're, yeah,
that's what he is. I liken this to the Malik Willis craze. Not quite that much because we're not talking about Milroe being a top 5 pick. Though I have seen some people have him at QB2 in this class, which I think is just absolutely insane. Evan, Jalen Milroe, if he goes somewhere that he has to start week 1, what do you think his outlook is for the 2025 season?
Oof, rest in peace, whoever has to start him. I said this on other shows over the last couple of weeks. After Cam Ward, I'm out on these remaining 4 quarterbacks. I have no faith in Jackson Dart, Sanders, Milroe, or Shug. I think they're all going to be like backup caliber at best, and I don't care about this quarterback class. I'm out.
Yeah,
you can hit me with a little Kyle McCord though.
You love in the right spot.
In the right spot, you could hit me with a little Kyle McCord, and that's not the Syracuse bias. I promise not.
Kevin, I'll bite. What is it about Kyle McCord that you think makes him NFL ready? And I want to know what landing spot you think you like the best.
Like he could fit with the Rams. Like I think that would be a good spot where he can have the elite playmakers. Like with the offense they had with Trevor Pena, Jackson Meeks, Rondé Gadsden. They had a really, really good offense. Obviously, LaQuinn Allen was there at Syracuse as well. But they had a pro-style offense when I think Sean McVay could do wonders for a guy like that. He's a bit developmental, but he's got a good enough arm, good accuracy. And I think with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, if he got the chance to start, he could at least he could have like a Bo Nix-ish upside where maybe you're trading a little bit of the stuff on the ground for more, pocket passing.
All right. Kacey, if Jalen Milroe were to land in Dallas to back up Dak Prescott, and you were face down with him being the starter in 3 seasons, are you hopeful? A guy who can't throw but can run. Yeah, I believe it was like 1,100 yards rushing last season.
I mean, honestly, as a Dallas Cowboys fan and a Dak Prescott, I'm not a fan or a non-fan, so I'm like, whoever's backing him up is going to end up having to play at some point. I'm assuming he's going to get hurt. Yeah,
I mean, Kevin, is he like Joe Milton plus?
We're talking about? Who, Milroe?
We're still talking about Milroe.
I think I said it was Malik Willis. He's the Malik Willises of Dorian Thompson Robinson. Like he is literally legs, and you have to really like tool him up with his arm, like to be even like passable. Like we saw that was pretty much Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts was way more elite than anything Milroe could ever dream of with his legs. And you didn't have to do much, but Hurts needed work. That's what Milroe is. He's going to be a project that you have to get into the right system. And trust me, there are a lot of bad systems where if you get him into somewhere that has a lot of instability, get him into like Cleveland, Milroe is a guy that can be out.
Forget about it.
Years.
Well, I mean, I would liken it to when Josh Rosen went to Arizona and then they switched coaches and shipped him off to Miami. And then at that point, you knew it was over because he'd been in 2 bad systems at that point and shuttled around. What are you going to do with a guy like that? Evan, what do you think is a good situation for Milroe right now? Where ideally for success, where would you want to see him land?
He's going to need to be in the best possible system, something like a Sean McVay system, like we were talking about earlier, because there are some people around the industry who are saying like he profiles as a boom or bust type of quarterback, like a Will Levis. And if he's not on a team that's known for developing quarterbacks like the Browns, he's completely screwed. He's not going to do well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Oh, guys, we're about 6 minutes away from the very first pick. So I want to shift to some Cam Ward in Tennessee talk. We know this is where he's going. This is a team that needs a quarterback. They took Will Levis when he fell out of the first round 2 seasons ago. When Levis has been on the field, Kevin, he hasn't been really impressive. Cam Ward's number 1 overall pick. How much of an upgrade is he realistically to Will Levis in this offense that just got Tyler Lockett?
I mean, I'm not really projecting Tyler Lockett as anything meaningful as far as an upgrade. I mean, I guess when you're looking, you're replacing James Proche and Traylon Burks and Mason Kinsey in that offense. So I guess from like a guy that's played 10 years in the NFL and still like has a pulse, I guess that's technically an upgrade to the wide receiver room. But like Cam Ward, the jury is still out on this whole Brian Callahan thing in Tennessee. Like, I'm trying to figure out what he's looking to do, because Tennessee is where wide receivers go to die. You know, they've already brought in Will Levis. That hasn't worked out. Cam Ward is like, what? Best case scenario, Ben Roethlisberger, I guess. But like, the mid case is Geno Smith, where it's going to take him a little bit to find it, but you're going to give him like a little bit of leeway, like more than you gave Levis. That's the upside. But with Calvin Ridley, that's 30 years old right now, Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett, that and Chig Okonkwo, like, what does that do for you as far as excitement? Nothing. Like, I don't want to draft that guy in Dynasty. I don't want to draft him in a rookie draft unless I'm like so hard up for a quarterback. I don't want to draft him in redraft because I am not convinced that guy can even throw 15 touchdowns in this offense. And then you not only that, but for fantasy, for like redraft, he's not really a runner. So like, you have to hope for like the nut outcome, like with basically Ben Roethlisberger's rookie season that got the Steelers to a Super Bowl. And I don't think we're getting that. So for like fantasy wise, like Cam Ward really doesn't move a needle for me, because right now this is an offense in complete transition right now, because we know Ridley's not going to be there, more than another year or two.
Right.
And they're going to have to turn over everybody.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to turn over everybody. Traylon Burks obviously has been a bust. They've wasted draft capital the last couple of years on positions and players that they're not going to see any real return on, because think about it. They're not going to trade Will Levis and get anything back. He's likely a free agent, the cut casualty. Traylon Burks, what you might get like a 6th or 7th round pick for him back. First round pick there. Casey, now let's go to the backfield. Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears. We're bringing in a guy who's a little bit more mobile. Does that concern you for their value in fantasy in 2025?
I mean, I was already concerned about their value as it is. So yeah, that would probably add a little bit more of a concern. I'm kind of off those dudes anyway, so that would probably just get me a little bit more. Yeah.
And they're talking about adding a running back too. So.
Yeah, it's I'm just not. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to mess with that right now. No.
Yeah. All right, pick is in.
Tennessee, guys. Cam Ward, it's official. He's standing up and walking to the podium. Mr. Ward is now a Tennessee Titan. Doesn't really change anything. I mean, it's exactly what we've been talking about here. We're going to go over here, though. I want to talk a little bit about Cam Ward. Let's get a little specific with some stats on him. Guys, we're going to talk about this. So he's 6'2", 223. Good size on the quarterback. He doesn't have Joe Burrow tiny hands, so we don't have to worry about that. And he's been fairly accurate. In college, 66% completion percentage. He was the ACC Player of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year. 7 career touchdowns and a 3-year starter. Kevin, I'm going to go to you first. His best ball ADP is 151. Are you interested at that price right now?
I mean, he's a quarterback 3. I mean, he's going to be like what Bo Nix was, what Drake May was. He's going to be a late round best ball stab where you're hoping you can capture a little bit of upside. Maybe he plays a little over his skis. I mean, we're not even convinced that he's going to be a week 1 starter. I mean, maybe
we have a trade.
He should be, but yeah, we'll see what's up with this trade. But yeah, he's a QB 3, and probably no better than that right now, especially with the deficiency that is the Titans offense.
Interesting trade we got here. Okay. They did it. The Browns did it.
Nice hood and blazer, Schefter, by the way.
So the Browns are now off the clock. It's the Jaguars on the clock with the number 2 pick.
That's it. That's interesting. I mean, if they're looking for a running back, is that something they really have to trade?
I'm now wondering if this is the Jeanty pick and that my Bears are not going to get him.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, what else could, unless they value Hunter or something like that to like the nth degree. But even then, I can't see.
I think they'd be smart to get Travis Hunter, but it's the Jaguars we're talking about here, right?
Right. We always want to kind of temper our expectations when expecting teams to do the correct thing or like the most appropriate thing. Like that's not what a lot of teams do. I mean, Howie Roseman is the gold standard for doing what a team needs to do and how to navigate the draft and how to do all this other stuff. I think Nate's coming in. There he is.
Sorry, guys. My headphones just completely cut out here. All right. Where were we here?
We're at the trade that just happened between the Browns and the Jaguars.
And the Jaguars are now on the clock. So their needs Oh, we lost Nate again. Oh, there we are. Okay, so the Jaguars' needs include defensive tackle, wide receiver, and tight end would be top 3. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but if they take Jeanty, I think they're out of their minds. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's a luxury. I mean, I guess if you feel that solid about Jeanty, you already have ETN and Bigsby, which is more than like a lot of teams have. Like, are you really in the position to take a running back right now when you have so many other needs across? Like, it's just cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah. What do you think, Kacey?
Yeah. I feel like it's the same thing. Like that. I don't want to see that happen. Luxury there. Like you've got more. I like the Dallas Cowboys. When I look at my team, like I would be freaking out to have what they have. So, that's just how I feel.
Nate, what about you?
Sorry guys, I was trying to update the backside of the show sheet here. I'm going to just talk about the trade real quick. I think this is interesting. Let's look at here. They get the 2nd, the 4th, and the 6th pick. They get the 5th, 2nd, 4th, and 1st round in 2026 over in Cleveland. If they go Travis Hunter here, this is a win for Jacksonville. This really helps shore up their defense. And you get a guy who can slot into a receiver next to Brian Thomas Jr. All of a sudden, when those guys are both in, what do you even do as a defense with those two guys? Brian Thomas Jr., Kevin, you and I have had conversations about this with him. He's going to be dangerous this season. We're looking for Liam Cohen's offense to really kind of push the ball down the field. Imagine Travis Hunter in that offense. That's just, it makes me too happy.
Yeah. And
of course, we have to make sure it's Travis Hunter first, of course. But
and the pick is in.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. But good on the Browns to at least trade 3 picks. They go down 3 picks. They add a 2nd and get a 1st out of the deal for next year. Like you're already in purgatory, thanks to Voldemort, who shall not be named. But good for the Browns to at least get a 1st round pick out of the deal.
Yeah, that's not bad. And they still have that 2nd round pick. So, which is essentially, it might as well be a 1st round pick at this point with all the trades that are going to happen. A lot of offensive line, a lot of defense happening in this draft, it appears as well. It is official, guys. It is Travis Hunter here going to the Cleveland Browns. Well, let's talk about this a little bit. Yeah, I think it's an interesting pick for me. It's interesting that they to Jacksonville. It's interesting that they went out of their way to trade up for it. Something that wasn't really, honest to God, was it on any of our radars right before the show? Did any of you heard any of this? That they might move up to 2 before maybe an hour ago?
I knew Jacksonville was I think I heard Jacksonville was looking to move up as well, along with the 6 other teams. But I
guess as far as it being an actual reality.
Anything goes, right?
Yeah, anything goes. Well, there you have it, guys. So something exciting. Pick 2. We are now moving on to pick 3 here. We have got the New York Giants, who are sure to do something stupid on the clock right now. Their needs: quarterback, tackle, defensive interior, and cornerback. Kevin, give me a reason they don't go Abdul Carter here.
Because the entire front office had a collective lobotomy.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a fair point. It's their most needed position. They have two veteran quarterbacks, right? If they're going to go after a quarterback at this point, Evan, is this something maybe they address later in the draft?
This is a terrible year to draft a quarterback, and I still stand by that. If the Giants take what's his face, Jackson Dart here, then I'm still gonna laugh at them because I have no faith in any quarterback outside of Cam Ward.
Yeah. What about? Yeah, no, there's nobody else. Shedeur Sanders. I will say this. Depending on landing spot, Shedeur Sanders is a guy that I do like in Pittsburgh because I like him under the Tomlin tutelage if he goes at 21. I don't know that that's actually going to happen. Kevin, if they go somewhere other than Abdul Carter, where is it?
I mean, I don't know. Like, just looking, they could still use work on the offensive line. Like, that would be a spot where they could trade down.
Sure.
You know, they can certainly, I mean, for all these teams that we talk about that are so deficient at a lot of spots, the answer you'll always hear, and teams won't do it, is trade down, get more picks, you get more stabs at finding elite talent, you know, or under the radar talent. Like, I don't understand, you know, unless you have just the most conviction. I mean, this is make or break for Dable, you know, this year as far as, you know, they have to get something going or else they're all going to be fired by like week 7.
Well,
again,
look, I kind of half predicted that. I've said it 1,000 times. I think we get Winston by week 7. As long as they don't go quarterback here, I mean, fingers crossed, we get Winston by week 7. That aside, let's say we get Russell Wilson for the entirety of this season. Kacey, how do you feel about this receiving core? We've talked about them a little bit. We got Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors over there, and Darius Slayton, Theo Johnson could be fun. But are these guys that you're excited about with Russell Wilson at quarterback in New York?
I mean, a few of them, sure. I'm always on Wan'Dale Robinson, and I just feel like let's get the ball to him properly. Let's get it and let's catch these balls. But he does see the targets. You know, I'm big into him, so I'm still on him right now, no matter like what.
Like the most disrespected 130 targets in NFL history, outside of like fullback Larry Centers. If you know, you know. But like, come on, the dude. I know it was 93 catches and 699 yards, but you know, it all counts in PPR.
Let's go.
So 100%. Evan, can we expect similar production from Wan'Dale Robinson this season? Can he be in that 130 to 140 target range in this offense with Russell Wilson behind center?
Yes, it's certainly possible, but I don't know what this offense will look like with him under center. I mean, they just paid Russ and Jameis Winston. They didn't overpay for him or anything like that, but I think the Giants would be smart to sit on them for a bit because I figured there's a reason they're paying for it. But knowing the Giants, they're probably still going to go Jackson Dart, and they'll do that just because that's the way they think they're going to develop him behind Russ or whatever. But Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy that I don't care to start in most fantasy football formats unless we lose Malik Neighbors, because the offense is just not skilled enough with the right coaching to make it respectable during the days of Eli Manning. So, no, I'm out on Wan'Dale Robinson.
Oh, my sweet, sweet Prince Eli Manning, who knocked out the Patriots twice. The only reason I like the guy. You know what? We've got somebody popping in here. Guys, I would like to introduce everyone to another newest member of Optimus Fantasy. Miss Carly Manger is tuning in. Good God, it's already been a long afternoon. That whole headset thing just threw me. Newest member of the team here, joining us just ahead here. The Giants have 3 minutes and 18 seconds to make their pick here, which Evan, I think he really deep down inside really wants it to be Jackson Dart. Carly, do you think that they're going to surprise us all and go with Dart, or is this a pick where they just kind of probably stick defense and go with Abdul Carter?
As a lifelong Giants fan, I am praying that they don't do something stupid per usual and stick with the plan. Abdul Carter, let's shore up the line. Let's make sure we have some protection. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's buy these guys some time. We just... Yeah. I don't think that Jackson Dart is the answer to our problems. I don't think. And there's so much talk of, oh, they're waiting for the next Manning. I don't know if Arch Manning is the answer either, but at least we have a year to figure that out.
And now the pick is in, so we'll see what happens, Carly.
Have we considered with the Giants that maybe stupid is the plan?
Always.
Well, is it the New York plan? Because look at what the Jets are.
The John Mara plan, the Brian Daboll plan.
When the Giants and the Jets signed Jameis Winston and Justin Fields respectively, I said one thing. The New York teams are going to continue to lose, but at least they're going to have fun doing it.
Style points.
So that's
accurate.
Yeah. Well, I've said this for a while. You get people who go to New York, these players who go to New York, that some of them, it's more about the status of playing for a New York team. Carmelo Anthony is probably one of those people.
Like if they take a quarterback, I could totally see them taking Shador over Jackson Dart just because of the I
could see that
think
too.
That's going to happen either. But if you're talking star quality, you're talking New York market, you're talking like Deion Sanders is his father.
Oh God!
So
we're gonna get it. I already know.
I am not putting that out into the unit. Well, I guess I already did. But
you just
watch it happen.
Carly, this is all on you, by the way.
I mean, Shador could be fun in New York. It would be good for Malik Neighbors, I think. I don't know how it could. I think it would be good for Tyrone Tracy too. Honestly, with Shador,
I could see it being good for Tracy.
I think they just lean on him with more volume. And I know all of the Devin Singletary truthers out there are going to say, hey, what about Devin Singletary? And I'm going to say, who?
Hey, those guys are on RotoViz. We don't have to worry about those people.
Yeah, that's true. They're not watching this. They're busy doing their own thing.
That's
here.
Literally Sean Siegel.
Boom.
All right. Well, the pick is in. They're flashing Dion up here on the screen. I wonder if that's a harbinger that somebody at NFL Network knows something about this pick.
Oh my God.
If they do go Shador, I'm going to be very shocked.
Me too.
And my heart will go out
shocked.
to all of the Giants fans. I really will be. This franchise seems like they're almost on their way. Like they distanced themselves from Daniel Jones, which I think was incredibly intelligent no matter the cost and the timing. I think it was a message to the organization, to the team, hey, we want to win. Going Abdul Carter, that's a message that, okay, our defense needs to get better now. Going with Shador Sanders tells me that they're not actually serious.
There it is. There it is. They actually made the right pick.
Oh, thank God.
What do you know?
Am I ahead of you guys on my browser?
No,
here?
I see it now too. So they went with Abdul Carter. All right, guys, Giants going defense. Russell Wilson's fantasy value is safe for now.
Okay.
You can keep drafting him as a back end QB2. I mean, Jameis Winston's value is always safe. I don't know that any of their fantasy value is actually safe.
We are not putting Russell Wilson on that pedestal just yet. I just want to put that out there.
All right.
No.
Carly, as the resident Giants fan, tell us the whole thing. How do you feel?
Honestly, I'm thrilled. For like last year, we got it right. We got Malik Neighbors. This year, we got it right. Somehow, we are finally trending in the right direction. Absolutely thrilled. And I kind of think that is, I mean, depending on what happens in the rest of the draft, let's say they don't draft a running back, could be a bump in Tyrone Tracy's value too.
I would hope. I liked what I saw out of Tracy last season. I was maybe higher on him than a lot of people were. He does have great hands.
I've been grabbing him, so like I know I'm making this all about me, but like that.
Casey, seriously,
he's on my options for keepers just because I took him so late that it's if the Giants don't take another running back, which is entirely possible. I've seen plenty of mocks with them taking I think Judkins later.
Judkins isn't going to last that long. I don't think. Kevin, where have you seen I've seen Judkins going for early or late first round, early second round in most of the mocks I've seen.
Yeah, that's probably about right for him. But like Tracy, we're talking about a 5th round guy that is I think he's very replaceable and insanely fragile as an asset. So if you have a dynasty, I would be looking to trade him for, if you can get a second out of him, I think you've won. I mean, what did it take to get him last year? A mid to late 3rd, in rookie drafts. So you've already won the lottery as far as getting return on investment and then some. So, but yeah, Tracy just he's fine. He feels, and it's not just because he, was a former wide receiver, but he feels Antonio Gibson-ish in that he can get somebody that plays alongside of him that's better than Devin Singletary, and you're never going to get a full role with Tracy. So while he was really good last year, but Gibson was really good as a first-year player too. So that's why I'm very worried. What's that?
Isaiah Pacheco.
I mean, he was a 7th round guy. He feels fragile too. I mean, Kansas City should be drafting a running back at the end of the 1st.
And the Patriots pick is in.
Oh, wow, that was quick. Okay, guys, let's talk about the Patriots here real quick. Their needs right now, according to Pro Football Focus: quarterback, tackle, defensive interior, and cornerback. I've seen some chatter they might go Tet McMillan. This morning, though, it's sounding more like it's going to be the offensive lineman Will Campbell, because he can play tackle and guard. So depending on which way they need to move him, they can insert him. Kevin, which way do you think they're going to go here?
I mean, you need to protect Drake May. I mean, I know that the offense is it's one of the worst skill position groups that I've seen in a long time. When you're talking about the assets you put into it last year, Jalen Polk looks like he's going to be a future XFL wide receiver 3 right now. And then it does not look good, but you need to protect Drake May. Like, Drake May is awesome. He can lift all the boats in that offense, but you need to protect him first and foremost.
And I truly don't think that Stephon Diggs is the answer.
I think everybody agrees, Carly.
No.
Just throwing it out there.
Here's what I will say about Stephon Diggs. I love him. Love him in best ball, because his price is pretty decent right now, because I think a lot of people are looking at it like, well, it's Stephon Diggs. He was already on his way out last season, then he got hurt. But if he's healthy, the volume that he will see in that offense right now, if they don't draft another wide receiver, because Carly, who else does he have to compete with for targets?
No one.
Even if he's crap.
No one. But here's a comparison that just popped into my mind, and I mean this in a complimentary way. I could see him almost becoming the Adam Thielen of that team, where it's the reliable veteran that you're just constantly targeting, and that's great for fantasy. So,
well, it's like mid-career Derek Carr, where he was a reliable back end QB1. You knew what you were getting. You could draft him at the back end of drafts and redraft 1 QB leagues. It was simple. And I feel like it's very similar here.
All right, we're still Deontay Johnson bet from last year, basically.
I like that. And while we're still waiting on this New England pick, I want to go back to the Adam Thielen reference. I love that. I love that reliability. And I love Adam Thielen.
Well, I don't know if he's that reliable. He was on 3 teams last year, but
but
the bet you were making in drafts is that it's purely for targets, and nobody is competing with him. And Diggs wanted to get paid, and the Patriots had money to blow. They tried to give it to Godwin. Godwin said no. Here, let's pay it to the guy that's coming off the ACL injury, who's like 31 years old, and there you go.
Evan, did things shift in this offense with Vrabel? Sorry, Carly. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if he can just get over his attitude and actually come to a place where he's okay not being that crazy superstar anymore and just be a member of the team for once, then I think it will work out.
I think he was getting there in Houston, honestly. Like, he seemed he was doing some of the right things. They restructured his contract enough to where it was basically a year-to-year deal, and it just bad luck he got hurt.
Yeah. All right, we've got a question in the chat here. Drew Hamilton wants to know, where are we taking Hunter now in Superflex rookie drafts? Jacksonville says he's going both ways. He has to be in consideration for the first overall pick. Kevin, don't you think?
I don't know if I'm doing that. Jeanty is far and away 101. I don't think you can make any case for anybody else, but you could probably make a case depending on any of the wide receiver landing spots that, because what is the ceiling for like his routes? Like realistically, if he's playing 75% of snaps on defense, he's probably not playing more than 50% on offense. And then you're basically, he's Marvin Mims. Like he has to be super efficient with the snaps routes he does get. So I think you have to pay the premium for him, but 101, no. I think maybe like depending on 103, 104, maybe as low as 105 unless there's like really good landing spots.
Elsewhere. See, I'd be willing to go up to 102 for him, with the idea that there's a chance that we see that more bit role be a cornerback, where they're using him in like nickel and dime packages in special situations, but the majority of his snaps are on offense. We don't know what's actually going to happen with that. So at this point, it's rolling the dice. Carly, in rookie drafts, where are you targeting Travis Hunter now that we know where he is?
Yeah, I probably agree with you, or Kevin rather, probably somewhere between the 103, 105, depending super flex or not. I think it's a really high risk, high reward pick. You got to just go for it, because if it works out, it's incredible. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And that's honestly 99% of rookie drafts anyway.
Will Campbell.
You never know if it's. Oh.
It's Will Campbell. That's a great pick for the Patriots.
That is a great pick for the Patriots. It's good for Drake May. It's good for, well, they're running Ramondre Stevenson, I guess, maybe, kind of. I don't know. It's good for somebody in that backfield. Kacey, how do you feel about this pick for New England? Does it maybe bump Drake May up a little bit in your super flex, in your one quarterback rankings, or a little at least?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. I do. I like the pick, and I do think that it would bump him up a little bit.
Kevin, how do you feel about this?
I mean, anything that they can do to protect Drake May is excellent. I mean, you went out and got Garrett Bradbury to play center, and he's not great, but he's better than like what you had. And the other tackle is Morgan Moses, who is like a journeyman mercenary at this point. But you know, Will Campbell as your like franchise, like it's always good you pair your franchise quarterback with a franchise left tackle. That's like, you know, the peanut butter and jelly of putting together an NFL team. It's like simpatico. So good for the Patriots to kind of work. You know, that's the build from within, build the lines first, and then kind of, you know, branch out and get wide receivers, get skill position talent. So good pick. Good for them.
Yep. I think so too. And as fantasy people, I know, and most NFL people, you're watching this draft as a general fan, you want to see the fun offensive picks. But these guys like Will Campbell make some of these offensive guys more fun. Drake May being a perfect example. Maybe we get a better season out of Ramondre Stevenson with a short up line. I mean, you really just, you never know. So now we've got Cleveland on the clock here. They've got 7 minutes and 41 seconds to make their first pick. I have no idea which way they're going to go. Evan, do you have any feelings on where you think Cleveland goes with this pick?
I would not be surprised one bit if they trade down again, as Diana Rossini just announced that they are taking calls for this pick. So I will not be surprised if they're just waiting for the right offer to trade down and put somebody else on the clock.
Kevin, do you think that that's a possibility here too?
If they were smart, they would. I mean, they already traded down once. Just honestly, keep it going, because you need,
why not?
You need anything you can get as far as like rookies or players, or you need volume at this point. You don't need to waste rookie contracts on guys when you're going to be in a 4 or 5 year hole.
Chaos.
Well, to be fair, they don't have a ton of needs right now. Their only listed needs are quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tackle, and cornerback. So, I mean, you know, they don't need that many picks in this draft. I think they'd be smart to go offensive line here. There are some really good players available, tackles, interior linemen that could really help this team. And I mean, I guess apparently Joe Flacco at quarterback, let's say goes quarterback here, which I don't see. Not with
Kenny
this
Pickett
pick here.
Kenny Pickett, that's their quarterback.
Speaking of their quarterback issues, I've heard some interesting rumors recently, especially based around some Myles Garrett comments, that he is very confident in their quarterback play. I'm wondering if there's some kind of Kirk Cousins trade to Cleveland.
Did they need to be more in cap hell, like to take on that?
Listen, if anyone's going to do it, it's clearly going to be them or the Saints.
Yeah, I was going to say the Saints are the other one. That's an interesting point. And we had talked about that a little bit. I think I talked about you, Kevin, and with you, Casey. I don't think Kirk Cousins stays in Atlanta. It doesn't make sense to me. Is this where he moves? Does Atlanta want to move up a little bit?
I mean, it's gonna if they trade Kirk Cousins, Atlanta's gonna have to there's gonna have to be a sweetheart deal. It's gonna have to be like Atlanta trades like a third and Cousins for like a fourth or something or later picks to be able to take on the money for imagine, we were talking earlier about taking a quarterback and adding to for the Giants, they paid what, $150 million for Cousins and then went and drafted Penix 8th overall. There's precedent for that, but I
have never seen a meltdown in a community of sports fans like I saw last year when Atlanta took Michael Penix. The profanity I saw on Twitter from Falcons fans alone was just incredible.
It was great.
Falcons.
It was fun.
I would love to bring up all of those tweets right now because clearly they knew something that we didn't know.
They obviously did.
You know what happened? Somebody in the Falcons room said, go get the Washington guy, and they really meant Odunze, but they ended up taking the quarterback instead, Penix.
What about hilarious if
good in that offense?
But
oh, jeez. Vince Mapstone here saying Atlanta trading up to 5 for Jeanty would be hilarious. Guys,
wishbone offense.
Arthur Smith isn't there anymore. So we know that one happened. If anything, we'll watch Pittsburgh trade up for that pick. We know that's not going to happen. Here comes Mr. White. She's walking out to tell us just exactly who the Cleveland Browns will be taking with the 5th pick. I bet, honestly, I think they go offensive line here. This seems like the organization's getting a little bit smarter after the Deshaun Watson debacle. Just what a mess that was.
Honestly, I hope they go Jalen Walker. Oh, it's Mason Graham. Nice.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Interesting.
I don't think it's a bad pick. I don't think it's a bad pick at all.
I don't think so either. What do you guys think?
Fine with
Kevin?
it.
Yeah.
Fine with it. I'm not wowed or anything, but I think it's a perfectly cromulent pick.
Yeah, it works. Well, now we're on to Las Vegas here with the number 6 pick. Could this be where we see Ashton Jeanty come off the board? I mean, this is a team that needs, and that is understatement of the century, needs a running back. Zamir White, Raheem Mostert.
Were you not entertained by Sincere McCormick?
A Sincere McCormick. I like his name. It's a cool name. Carly,
he was pretty efficient in the 2 games he played.
Exactly. It's Alexander Madison production. We can talk about that later. Carly, how do you feel about this here with Vegas? If they go with Jeanty, what is his outlook? I mean, is this, no matter where he goes, is he offensive rookie of the year? Does it matter at this point?
I think it does matter where it goes. I think that Raiders and the Bears, obviously, Evan will cheer for joy, are the top 2 landing spots fantasy-wise for him. I think that's the best, the biggest and best production you're going to get. But with Geno in Vegas right now, Brock Bowers and Jeanty, that would be amazing for the Raiders. And I would be shocked if they didn't take him here. And if they don't, then the Bears would be my next pick for top fantasy landing spots.
Casey, if the Raiders get Jeanty here with the 6th pick, does this make them a contender in the AFC West at all? Just put them in position with Geno, with Brock Bowers, then with Jeanty to maybe challenge a weaker KC team?
I mean, with Jacoby Myers, sure. No, that's my dude. That's another one of my dudes. Sorry,
I do love Jacoby Myers.
I love to name drop these guys, even though I don't know them personally. But I don't know. I think that they're getting where they need to be. I think it's a few more years that we're gonna have to be sticking around waiting to see what's gonna happen. But I think that if they go with him here, I mean, I'm a happy camper. I like it.
Well, Vegas to me screams just an absolute ton of volume, because once you have a guy like that, you stop giving it to the Zamir Whites and the Sincere McCormicks, and you use a guy like Raheem Mostert as more of a change of pace back. Evan, Ashton Jeanty in Vegas, it's the most likely pick, but if they go another direction, do they move the pick, or do they go wide receiver, defensive interior, cornerback? Which way do they go?
They need help on their secondary very badly too, and a Will Johnson out of Michigan would be a pretty damn good pick for them if they go that early. Knowing Pete Carroll, he's not the type of guy to pick a running back in the first round. He always waits until the second. Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, wasn't Sean Alexander a second round pick 2 years ago, something like that?
Boy, I think he was.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised if they pass on Jeanty here and wait for another running back to come up, because they have a lot of needs on defense they need help with, including safety.
Well, and we've got here in the chat Lou Brunson. He wants to know if we have anything that's looked at what Jeanty in Vegas would look like. We do. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Lou's got an awesome video on Ashton Jeanty there. It's in our shorts. Kevin, a lot of people are upset that Jeanty didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah, I was broken up about it.
Do you think he should have won it, though? Versus the two-way player? I mean, 2,500 rushing yards is monstrous. You're going to
ask me. You're going to ask Nate. You know me. You're going to ask
I know
the zero
you.
RB
I also
guy
know. I know.
The running back should have won the Heisman.
Pick is in.
But even zero RB guys can appreciate a good running back.
No, they can't. I can't.
Yeah, whatever.
He's like, he'll transform the Raiders. Like, they're literally, a bag of bones and dust, and like, they're a change drawer full of like spare parts. That's basically what they are right now.
With one singular gold coin that is Brock Bowers.
Yes.
He is the gold. Player. He is the gold bar in that. Like,
look.
Well, you said change.
Brock Bowers.
There it is.
Bowers is what we wanted Kyle Pitts to be.
There it is.
Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders, folks. As a Broncos fan and a Denver native, this just pains my heart. But for fantasy, I really do. I really love this landing spot. Kacey, where are you taking him in redraft? Now that you know he's in Las Vegas, we're talking 1 QB Superflex. What round are you willing to take Jeanty in?
I don't know. Redraft. My brain. Let me think.
I know it's dynasty brain right now.
I know right now, because I'm like, I have the 101 in one of my dynasty leagues, so I'm sitting here like, I mean, if I'm waiting on a running back, I think I would. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at where all these guys are going yet. That's my issue. So, it's going to be probably later than his ADP is going to be.
Carly, how late are you taking him? I mean, is he like a top 5 guy now with his landing spot, do you think?
I was going to say, I feel like he's going to end up somewhere around like the early second, like 1-2 turn maybe in redraft, just ADP wise. I don't know if I'm going to take him there. Kind of depends on some of the other landing spots we see tonight, any other moves that are made. Yep. But I do think that is probably where he will go. He made such noise in the college football that if you don't play dynasty, you don't know about rookies, you know who he is, you know what he's done. He has that hype around him. So I'm excited to watch him run around the field like a freaking pinball and just bouncing off of people. But I have a feeling he will go as probably around the 1-2 turn, at least as of right now.
Evan, if he doesn't pass the AJ Dillon, Mike Davis thigh test, are you still taking him in that like second round range in drafts?
I don't want him as early as like the end of the first. I want him in the second round. I would be willing to take him in like the early second or mid second as of right now, unless something changes, because the Raiders right now are not built to win. They're going to feed him the rock, don't get me wrong, but I don't believe they have an offensive line that's going to make him good enough and efficient on the ground to make him worth this first-round draft capital. So I'm not going to be reaching on Jeanty like I know a lot of crazy people in redraft leagues are going to want to do with this guy. And best ball, you can bet your ass he's going to go early. But
I'm crazy person. I will take him as high as like 108.
Exactly.
That's a little earlier than I'm willing to do it. That's my
BB
Bijan Robinson bias, though, because getting burned on Bijan year one, that hurt. And then I got, it's not Arthur
BBM6
Smith,
is coming out in a matter of days on Underdog.
Yep.
So the hype is going to be absolutely there for him. Slappies are absolutely going to go nuts over projected volume. They're going to see what is behind him is literally Raheem Mostert. We talked about the chain, sure, whatever, but there's like 300 carries available for him, and I would say pretty sneaky receiving upside. Like his receiving stuff in last season, because he got so much volume, like he went from 220 carries his in 2023 to 374. Because of that, his like receiving stuff dropped off pretty precipitously, but like 43 catches, 569 yards in his second season in 2023, like that's enough receiving upside where you can make the case for, if he gets 300 carries, you could probably tack on 60 or so targets on top of that. And that, if you get some of the efficiency carrying over from the college to the pros, you're looking at like a top 3-4 running back. And look, because all of the running backs were so healthy last season, we're bound to get some, variance happening this year. So look, not everybody's going to stay healthy, but I will happily take a chance on Jeanty. When after like Puka Nacua and after Brian Thomas, the end of the first to like the beginning of the third round is flat.
And the Jets pick is in.
All right, guys, just real quick, I want to run through some of these jaunty stats because it is pretty astounding, especially I'm going to point out last year, 2,595 rushing yards for jaunty.
Absolutely insane.
That's just, it's absolute insanity. Now with the pick in, we'll get back to it here. We are off of Las Vegas. We are on to the New York Jets, who recently added a quarterback. They got Justin Fields in there. It's like Zach Wilson plus, I suppose, would be the best way to put it. Hopefully he plays a little bit better than that. But right now with this pick number 7, I've seen a lot of Tyler Warren talk. Carly, have you seen the same?
I have. For fantasy value wise, it's my least favorite landing spot, or one of them. But I have seen a lot of chatter. It's something the Jets would do. How much do you trust Justin Fields is the real question.
Well, and I think, Kevin, and maybe you'll agree with me, if they're going to go tight end here, wouldn't Colston Loveland be a better fit for that offense with Fields?
My God, I don't want them to draw. Like, that's like the least of their worries. Like, they probably like do need a tight end, but to basically redo the Kyle Brady stuff from like the mid 90s, Jets fans are still talking about that. They're still salty about taking Kyle Brady. Like I know right now that what's the top their depth? It's Ruckert and Stone Smart. Like, okay, I guess you need one, but you also need a lot more than tight end. And I wouldn't be spending the 7th round pick on that in this draft, where unless you have a Brock Bowers, and I'm sorry, the guy that could not beat out Theo Johnson and Brenton Strange at Penn State, Tyler Warren, is not Brock Bowers. Or Colston Loveland. Neither are Brock Bowers. I'm not spending that. I would not want to spend that on it.
They don't have to be Brock Bowers, though. There's not that many Brock Bowers.
If you're drafting him in the top 7, he better be Tony Gonzalez. He better be one
Antonio
of those types
Gates,
of tight ends.
Shannon
not
Sharp.
Eric Braun, or not Brandon Pettigrew, not Kyle Brady, not Gary
Barnage. You don't want another Gary Barnage. They're in the top 10. No,
also quickly going back to the Giants for a second. They also picked up Kayvon Thibodeau's 5th-year option right after drafting Carter. So they are going all in and making sure they shore up.
It's a good defense. And 3 years ago, when Daniel Jones had that monster season that got him way too much money, we thought this was a team that could contend in the NFC East. So I don't know, some of these moves, if they shore up their defense, if Russell Wilson can put together even a mediocre season, this Giants team could be decent. And the NFC, really, who are you competing with? The Commanders and the Eagles in your own division.
The Super Bowl
Lions, kind of.
Eagles
Look, you're not going to convince me that the Lions are ready. until they show that they can show up in a big game. In Minnesota, like, cool. They had a good regular season record and folded in the playoffs. Until McCarthy shows me that he can do it at the NFL level, I don't know. Back to the Jets, though.
Safety blanket really helps, though.
Till the Packers can do something other than hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs.
And it's Armand Membu.
All right. Well, see, okay, offensive line. This is another smart pick for the Jets. If you want Justin Fields to succeed, you got to have a decent line. His problem in Chicago was what? Terrible line.
Line.
Yep. He's
Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, and Matt.
He had a lot of
Matt
problems
Nagy.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
A lot of problems in Chicago, but that was a big one.
I watched the whole thing. Trust me, I would know.
Yeah.
You did. You did. All right. Well, we're moving on to pick number 8 now. The Carolina Panthers, noted draft bungling team. Another one in the top 10. It's funny how these teams always end up in the top 10, right? Carly, what do you see Carolina doing here with this pick? Their biggest needs are wide receiver, edge, and defensive back.
I mean, could we see Tech going as early as pick 8? Maybe.
Could do it.
That would be my
Because
choice for wide receiver here.
It's like him or Jalen Walker.
Pretty much.
I feel like it's going to be Tet. The Tet Chat picked up a little bit earlier. Tet Chatter picked up a little bit earlier today. It would be really good for Bryce Young. Be really good for Bryce Young.
I'm not feeling it for Tet.
I'm not either.
I don't think it's not my favorite landing spot.
It feels like Terrace Marshall all over again.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Man. Terrace Marshall.
Man.
Yeah.
Jalen Walker would be the best fit, though.
I mean, do we think maybe Dave Canales turns this team around year 2? Bryce Young's looking a little bit better. I mean, look, after the benching and he came back and he played pretty decently well. If you give him a talent like Tet McMillan, does that elevate Bryce Young maybe?
Define turnaround, though.
I mean,
he looked marginally better, all right?
He looked like a functional he looked like a functional NFL quarterback. Like
yes, he did.
When he came back. Like that's the best thing I think you can say about the end of his 2024.
That's the best thing that's been said about him in the entirety of 2024.
And if that's
really
the bar,
since he was drafted. I mean, we all know that he's shorter than Chase Vernon, which if you've been in this community long enough and you're watching, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I got reminded of Chase today on Twitter earlier. I don't hate Tet there for Bryce Young. I hate it for Tet McMillan, sort of, but I think there's a chance that he could be productive. The rest of this team just isn't that good because, like, you look at the backfield. Chuba, he was good last year, but if they don't go running back at some point in this draft, you're pretty much leaving him by himself.
I take Hunter over him in rookie draft. If Tet goes to Carolina, I take Hunter over him easy.
Yep. Evan, how much would Tet McMillan to Carolina ding his value for you?
I think that would be way too early of a pick for the Panthers. They're not that needy at wide receiver. I mean, it's still a need, don't get me wrong, but Jalen Coker looked pretty good as a complimentary wide receiver, and I don't think this is the strongest wide receiver class we could ask for. I think Tet will do fine in the NFL, and even with Bryce Young throwing to him, but right now, I think they can do with getting some more defensive talent because let's not forget, they were last in pretty much every meaningful stat for defense last year. They got to go Jalen Walker. They got to go Will Johnson. They got to pick something. Just take what they feel is the best fit in their scheme and go for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They still have to see what they have in Leggett too.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think it's like a luxury where Adam Thielen has got like a year or two absolutely tops.
Right.
So,
Max.
whether you're probably long-term sticking Coker in the slot as like a bigger slot guy. If you draft an outside wide receiver, if you draft Tet, that can work out. It's just not right now when you have other pressing needs like, an edge rusher and Jalen Walker's just sitting there.
I would.
Pick.
Yeah, that is a smart pick. Which is exactly why I think we're about to see Tet McMillan get announced to Carolina.
Assuming NFL
teams have been making smart things, smart picks. The dumb teams have been making smart picks.
Hold
I
our
would love
beer.
to see it. I'd love to see it happen here. Our boy Brad down there in the chat, and also the lead of Optimus NFL. He's a big Carolina fan, so I know he's hoping that they do the right thing, and he wants to see a surprise pick and them take Shedeur Sanders to pair up with Bryce Young. I'm kidding. I saw Carly's eyes get huge down there. Just trying to scare Brad here as they're showing Taco Bell on my TV. That's even scarier. I think they would be smart to go edge here. There really aren't any cornerbacks at this point in the draft. I think that would be worth this pick.
You don't think it'll be Will Johnson?
No, I don't think so. I think he's 10 or later. But again, what do I know? That's why I'm not a scout for an NFL franchise, I suppose.
Not with that attitude.
Well, yeah, that's right. I could work for the Jets. Woody Johnson's taking advice from his kids, and they're giving him Madden ratings. So I don't know that I'd be that bad at it. With Carolina here, as this picks, waiting for this pick to come in. Is there any part of this offense, Casey, that you're going to be targeting at cost in drafts right now? I mean, probably guys like Jalen Coker, I think, is probably good value. Xavier Legette is a good value. But outside of that, is there anybody you're interested in this offense, even remotely, like Tommy Tremble? Maybe take a flyer on him at tight end because, God, who knows? Why not?
I mean, God, who knows? Why not? Like, maybe if you are taking a flyer on like 400 other tight ends and you need one extra to add to your collection of really cruddy tight ends, and sure, whatever. But no, those wide receivers you just listed, those are the only guys that I'm really targeting. Especially, I mean, even with at cost, I think that if they're going for good value right now, I'm cool with that.
Good. Carly, what about you? Are there any parts of this offense you're going to be looking at in fantasy as we're starting to head into the meat of the offseason?
Honestly, in a redraft league at cost, throw Thielen on my bench. Why not? Old, reliable for a reason, consistent targets. It's not going to go away. He's been Bryce Young's best friend in his ascension and upwards, and
there it is.
And he's never going to go anywhere high enough where I'm not going to feel comfortable taking Thielen.
Well, they just took Tate McMillan, so is that still out the window, Carly? Or do you still taking Thielen now that it's set?
I almost like Thielen more.
He's old, reliable now.
Old, reliable. But I called it.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Again, we've beaten this pick to death, so we're gonna move on here. We're gonna move on to the New Orleans Saints are now on the clock with pick number 9. Carly, you're down there in New Orleans. What have you been hearing from the media down there about what's going to happen at this pick?
A lot of Jackson Dart. A lot of Jackson Dart hype. Derek Carr apparently has a more serious injury than anyone was aware of. And I don't even know if he's going to start the season or if the injury's even fully real or if he's just super unhappy. But they definitely need a quarterback. Spencer Rattler was not the answer. Jake Hayner and his blue steel photos are not the answer. So yeah, I really mostly have been hearing a lot of Jackson Dart. I was going to do a jersey change, but I decided against it.
The pick is in for the Saints, so we'll see if you're right, Carly.
If it's 2 for 2.
I don't hate this spot for Dart. I think it's good for Chris Olave. Man, I wish Rashid Shaheed was going to be healthy, but it sounds like that's not going to be a thing. Casey, you like the Saints. You like Chris Olave a little. Do you like him a little bit more if it's Jackson Dart?
Yes, maybe a little bit. I mean, I like him fine. Nothing there's really moving the needle for me, making me I don't know. We'll see what Olave looks like this season, but maybe a tiny bit.
See, I didn't think Olave was the best Ohio State wide receiver that came out in that draft, and I think I've been kind of proven right. However, Brandon Cooks is alive, folks. If they get a better quarterback, he is. Apparently,
he is,
politically, but
I mean, technically,
he has a pulse. But I mean,
if Rashid Shaheed doesn't start the season, Brandon Cooks is their wide receiver too. That's just a fact.
You clock his 40 with a sundial.
Yeah, you got Olave, you got Brandon Cooks, and we're probably going to have Cedric Wilson. Oh, Velus Jones Jr. Bayless Jones Jr. is on that roster. Maybe we see some time out of him.
I'm pretty sure he's still on one of my dynasty rosters, and I'm like, why?
You might want to check that, Casey.
I might want to
look.
You know, I have a lot of
Yeah.
roster cloggers. It's been a season. I gotta go and really
So
reevaluate life.
about Bayless Jones Jr., we tried so hard to make him a returner. He was not cut out for that role. He was like a deer in headlights out there, man. That was Ryan Poles' worst pick ever.
Well, I was born when he was in high school. So, like, geez, dude. Talk about an old man in the NFL. Really excited to see who this pick is. I wish that ESPN didn't have Booger McFarland on as I'm looking over now. I don't think there's an announcer I like less in the NFL at this point. This New Orleans pick, I really do think it's probably going to be a quarterback, especially with the news on Carr today and them saying, well, it hasn't changed any of our plans. A lot of people thought they were going to go with Shedeur at 9. Jackson Dart, though, I really do think is the better pick. Carly, with Shedeur, if it were to be Shedeur here, if they surprise everybody, how do you feel about the assets in this offense? Are you maybe a little bit more in on a guy like Alvin Kamara in that situation?
Probably a little bit, especially because Shedeur kind of panics in the pocket a little bit, and having that reliability of Alvin Kamara would be helpful for him and would definitely benefit Alvin Kamara's value. But I really think that the ties with Mississippi and New Orleans being so close, like, I think that there is always a vibe in the South of that love, you know? So I don't think that Shedeur is a good culture fit here almost.
I would have to agree with you. I can't see it actually happening. I see Kevin grinning there. I think it's because he knows who we've got backstage here. So without further ado, the one and only Mr. C.H. Herms. You know him from Fantasy Alarm, FTN, and the Nate and Herms show every Wednesday night, late night during the season. Herms, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Although you do not know me from Fantasy Alarm, just FTN.
Not Fantasy Alarm, Fantasy Points. Fantasy
Yes,
Points.
I got that.
Points Alarm. They're both red and white, man.
I got another half. I'm representing
time.
everywhere on either shoulder. I'm repping the brands. And Optimus.
Herms, friend of the show, friend of the family, friend of the entire brand, friend of the community.
Herms, is that
Sage's
Baja
pick
Blast?
is in. Where are they going with this one?
Man, I hope it's not Jackson Dart, dude. Like, I'm stressed out as a Steelers fan. I need a quarterback. It's so stressful.
5 and 12.
I'm thinking you
that's
guys
where
get
we're going.
Shedeur at what, 21?
That's what I'm. Yep,
That would
21. I think
rule.
it is Shedeur at 21.
I'd be
All right,
so
we got
enthusiastic.
Fancy White. She's reading off the pick here.
Ooh,
Who's it going to be?
it's Kelvin Banks.
All right,
Ooh.
tackle. That's
That was
good.
actually a good pick.
I'm
That
safe.
was a really
Yes.
good pick.
Huh.
I cannot believe how much we've been disappointed by the crappy teams making smart decisions and cutting down on our in-between pick fodder. Kelvin Banks out of Texas. He's one of the highest rated offensive linemen in this class, obviously. Tackle has been a problem for New Orleans. Casey, we'll start with you. Does this help maybe bump the value? Maybe we see a little bit more out of Kendre Miller with a better offensive line, but then also whoever is at quarterback, whether it's Derek Carr or someone else that they bring in, does that maybe make you slightly more excited about rostering them in fantasy?
Yeah, it does a little bit. I'm glad they made this pick here for fantasy purposes. I mean, for real life purposes too, but yeah, for fantasy purposes, I do think it gives a little bump.
Yep. Kevin, does this sway the needle for you on any of those offensive assets in that backfield specifically?
I mean, Kamara is going to do what he does best. He's going to get 90 targets and rush for like 750 yards. Olave is going to be, undervalued and then probably still miss on, what we value him in the draft in the end of the second, early third. Rashid Shaheed's going to, catch a few deep balls. Probably got MVS got the ones that were ticketed for him. Last season, obviously he got hurt. Brandon Cooks is going to turn into dust by week 5.
Yeah, obviously.
Nick is in for the Bears.
Okay.
That was fast.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine for
Nervous.
DiNucci, the QB4 of the New Orleans Saints.
All right, well, Evan, now you're the Bears guy here on this stream. I want to know what you're thinking here. They need a running back. Roshan Johnson DeAndre Swift. We know Ben Johnson doesn't love DeAndre Swift. He already jettisoned him from Detroit. Do you think they go running back here? Do they go after one of the guys up from Ohio State? Omari Hampton, by a lot of people, is the second-rated running back in this draft. Which direction do they go?
I'm not sure if we go Omari Hampton this early because we still need another edge rusher, and we got Michael Williams still on the board, James Pierce still on the board. I would be happy with Derek Harmon if he falls our way, but that's the thing. At this point, now that I know we're not trading up, I don't know, and I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm trying not to hyperventilate here.
Evan, where were you on the insane overreaction of like a lot of mocks throwing Tyler Warren at your pick for the Bears?
I call them Cole Kmet haters because they don't know that Cole Kmet has elite hands, and Matt Eberflus forgot about Cole Kmet last year because he was.
So did Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron wanted to play Gerald Everett over him in week 1, and what the hell was that all about?
I don't think much of it. It's just Shane Waldron being unqualified for the OC role. But no, I don't know who these idiots are who kept saying that we need a tight end. No, we don't. We are fine at tight end.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that, and I thought the same thing. And Kmet really started to come into his own at the end of last season. Carly, we're going to talk more about Cole Kmet because, I mean, I love Cole Kmet. Do you think that in this offense with Caleb Williams, year 2, this offensive line, they made some moves this offseason to get better on the line? Is Cole Kmet a guy that could be a top 12 tight end this season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think so. I think that especially watching Caleb last year, their connection, knowing that he's a very, like, tight ends are so reliable to younger quarterbacks. They're so important. They're a much bigger target moving across the field generally. So, and like Evan said, he's got great hands. So why not? Like, I absolutely could see him finishing top 12. And I think that his price, especially in redraft, will totally be worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree. We saw him, what was it, Kevin? You and I talked about him a little bit a few weeks ago. 2 of his last 3 games were double-digit targets, double-digit catches. So Caleb Williams kind of caught on like, hey, this guy's reliable. Also in this Bears offense, Kevin, I want to ask you about Rome Odunze. Does he take a step forward this season?
I mean, he's going to have to. They got not much else behind him as far as, they obviously are not bringing Keenan Allen back. I believe Moore and Odunze were top 6 in overall routes run last season. That's a lot to do with why Kmet, was just an afterthought in this offense last season. Obviously, the Shane Waldron was gone. Matt Eberflus was gone. So there's a lot of turnover for first-year Caleb Williams. But, yeah, I do believe that, with Ben Johnson, I think he's going to make Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's one of the best values there right now. And I'm sorry, I'm not super sold on Olamide Zaccheaus getting some decent real estate in this offense.
Zaccheaus is a blocker. He's not going to be catching a lot of balls.
No, he's definitely not going to be. Herms,
I'm loving watching Evan freak out right now.
I'm nervous.
Well, they're like leading you on. They're dragging it out. They're really making you wait. They're making you sweat. Herms, I want to ask you, between these 2 receivers on this team right now, between Odunze and DJ Moore, who would you rather have on your fantasy roster at cost right now?
Well, I mean, I think for dynasty purposes, I'm just going to say the younger guy. But if we're just talking redraft in general, though, like DJ Moore, dude, like, we've seen him do it. And, like, I don't want to say more until, like, I know what this pick is going to be. I'm stalling a little bit because I'm on he hasn't said anything yet, Mr. Goodell. So, like, this is really, man, I'm tilting, and I'm not even the Bears fan here, man. Like, this is wild, dude. This could be really interesting here.
Okay, let's say they go safety. They go defense with this pick. How do you feel about wide receivers?
I mean, yeah, things stay as they are, then, like, that would be super cool. I think, like, okay, the big thing I'm stalling for is if they take a running back. Like, if they go with Omari and Hampton or something, I think it'd be super sick. Really kind of bring the whole unit to it. Just because DeAndre Swift sucks, I think the entire ecosystem would be better. But
whoa,
they do it.
He came here with fighting
Loveland. Colston Loveland.
Oh my God! Really? Wow, dude.
Bears at 10.
Whoa!
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
That kind of rules. That kind of rules. I'm not
What
gonna
the
lie.
fuck?
Okay.
That's a
I
I'm
don't get this
shocked.
pick. I mean, are we
Yeah, I
trading
don't.
Cole Kmet at this point? Because I don't get this
You almost
pick.
have to.
The Bears.
Wow.
Depends.
Wow.
That's insane, dude.
Mm-hmm.
This is wild.
Evan's gotta
Evan
walk
just
this
left the
one off.
building.
I mean, it's in line with my tight end ranks. Colston Loveland was one over Tyler Warren for me. Evan left, so I mean, I guess I don't blame him.
I'm
This
so
is just-
confused. I don't understand why we did that.
Casey,
Is this Atlanta all over again?
Man, this Cole Kmet stuff. Jeez, they better be trading him.
We
Yeah.
needed an edge rusher. We needed another defensive tackle aside from Gervon Dexter. But is Colston Loveland playing defensive tackle? Because I don't get it.
maybe.
Trade Cole Kmet to the Packers. Lucas Van Ness is dating his sister. So
There you go. Problem solved. Problem solved.
boom.
That sounds like a
Come to
perfect
Optimus
match.
Fantasy for this insider info of who people's
Yeah,
sisters are.
Oh, wonderful. Well, guys, now that the Bears have baffled us, San Francisco 49ers are on the clock here, and the pick is in
Easy for
already.
you to say.
Francisco. Woohoo! I doubt this pick is going to be all that shocking. This is the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch 49ers. They run this like a well-oiled machine, except for that Trey Lance pick. They need a guard, they need a tackle, they need a defensive lineman, they need a quarterback. This is likely to be an unsexy pick from a fantasy perspective. Carly, do you have any thoughts on what you think the 49ers are going to do here? I mean, honestly, most needs are on defense, really, at this point.
Yeah, I think that the 49ers need to, based on what I'm hearing recently, George Kittle is having some contract issues. The Purdy still needs to get signed. I don't think they're doing anything crazy. I think they're going to add some defensive player here. Don't really have my board up to see who's left on the board at the moment, but I think that what they have is what is working for them. So I think they just want to shore up that defense and make sure that all of the work that Purdy puts in doesn't go to waste.
Yeah, Kevin, I think I'm with your manner of thinking here, your way of thinking with this pick. They need to move off of this pick. I just don't think that there's anything of massive value for the 49ers here right now that they need. Herms, how do you feel about that? I mean, could you see a trade happening here? The pick is in, technically, but that could be a trade.
I mean, that would be kind of sick. I don't know, dude. Like, the Niners need a lot, dude. I'm kind of hoping that they do something for their secondary. Like, that's kind of the
Will
big
Johnson.
problem. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that
Will
would
Johnson's still on the board.
He is.
That would be perfect. Yeah, I mean,
Or
they could
like,
also trade
Gray
down and get some
Zabel.
other corners, but yeah. Oh,
We've got
yeah,
a Gray
that'd be fun.
Zabel. We got some Gray Zabel love here in the chat from Vince Mapstone, or Josh Connerly being a dark horse at this
I'm boots
pick.
on the ground and I'm in Gray Zabel country. This ain't Trey Lance country anymore.
Hey.
Was it ever
We're building
Trey
the-
Lance country? Was it
Well,
ever
no,
Trey
because
Lance
it was
country?
still technically Carson Wentz country. But like they started building the
Oh.
bronze statue. They only got up to like the kneecaps. That's where Trey Lance got cut off by Kyle Shanahan. So then now they have to transition it to Gray Zabel country.
Any
All
love
right.
for Jahdae Barron?
Sure.
Later, maybe.
Yeah,
I do think that trading
not
the pick
here.
would be worth it.
I do too. I think they could get more in return for trading if they're going to get out of this pick specifically. From a fantasy perspective, just kind of looking at this 49ers offense, obviously Christian McCaffrey's going to be a hot topic, guys. If he's healthy, Carly, where are you taking him in drafts this season?
If he's healthy, he claims he is. I mean, we've seen him bounce back from other injuries. Does it scare the crap out of me? Absolutely. I was thinking about this when we were talking about Jeanty, because who would you rather have? A rookie with exponential potential or Christian McCaffrey who has Achilles tendonitis in both ankles?
That's a t-shirt, by the way. Exponential potential. Casey, that's your department.
Yes, sir. Flag it. Let me get that. Let me get right on that.
Speaking of which, if you look down at the bottom corner of our screen, guys, you are going to see Sunday Dreamers Club fantasy football t-shirts for all. SundayDreamersClub.com. Good old Kacey making some awesome, like the shirts are hilarious. Which one are you wearing now? Big Draft Energy. There we go. You love to see it. Now back to San Francisco. Herms, I'm going to ask you this one. Brandon Ayuk, no Debo. He's supposedly going to be healthy. How do you feel about him in 2025?
Okay, so remind me, he tore his ACL, right? That was the thing?
Yes.
Just the ACL? Like, was it
just
like multi-ligament?
Nope. It was just the ACL.
Just ACL.
Okay, cool. So, like, that helps because for people out there who don't know, the more damage you do in your knee, the worse it's going to be coming back. So, if it's a fairly clean break, you're definitely going to be doing a little bit better, but there's still a little bit of a ramp up process. I think they call that the return to play rate. So, we are going to have to worry about it a little bit early in the season. But I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, it's a pretty potent offense when it's all firing. Like, assuming they can solidify the offensive line a little bit and get some help behind Christian McCaffrey, the whole thing is going to be explosive. And that just only helps somebody like Brandon Ayuk. I think it's very important to always look at the entirety of the offensive ecosystem when judging these things. And like, dude, I also really believe in Ricky Pearsall. I don't know. In like short flashes we saw last season, there were definitely stretches there where I was like, okay, this guy can definitely step up and be a reliable secondary option in this passing attack. I think anybody that was a little bit worried about the departure of Deebo Samuel is a little bit misguided, but I don't know. Deebo's not quite the same. I don't want to disparage him too much because I'm excited that he's coming to my neck of the woods to join the Washington Commanders. It's going to be great. I'm excited to see them do well for the first time in my life. So, like, it's great. But, yeah, long-winded way of, Ayuk, good, eventually.
No. Kevin, where does Kittle fit into the tight end conversation this season? Is he top 5, top 10?
I mean, he's at least top 3. I mean, it's Bowers, McBride, and then a big gap, and then you could probably figure Kittle in there as 3. I mean, depending on how you feel about JJ McCarthy, you could maybe make a case for Hawkinson, but I think that's a little far flung. Kittle's old, but he's like legitimately the best 2A tight end in football as far as a guy is going to be always out there blocking, guy that's going to be out there stretching, high ADOT kind of guy. So, I mean, look, Kittle's like a perfectly fine. If you don't get Bowers or McBride, it couldn't be me. I'm taking Bowers wherever I get it, wherever I'm at. But
what? You've been really quiet about Brock Bowers this offseason.
Yeah.
I would have had no idea that you really
I
think
should
that
probably speak up on that a little more, huh?
Yeah,
he's just keeping it to himself, scheming.
Michael Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia, is the pick for the 49ers.
Nice.
I think that it's a good pick.
That's a really good pick.
Yeah, it's not fantasy football sexy, but it's good for football. So now we are on to pick number 12, the Dallas Cowboys. Kacey, your boys here, they've got some needs. A lot of them on offense. They need a guard. They need a wide receiver. They need a running back. We heard some chatter that they might go wide receiver with this pick, find somebody to pair with CeeDee Lamb. If they do that, is there anybody in this class that you like a little bit more than the others, or is it just to get somebody to help the man out?
It might be a get somebody to help the man out just because I don't know too much. Matthew Golden is one of the guys that I have heard because I told you I was going to listen to the radio, and I did. So that's one of the things I did for my homework. So there you go.
I'm hearing a lot of Matthew Golden. They definitely love the speed. Like you want someone fast there with CeeDee Lamb, and especially Texas guy staying in Texas makes total sense. Definitely see a lot of ties of Matthew Golden to the Cowboys, so I could totally see that happening here.
Oh yeah, I want to see him take Mario Hampton personally.
I don't think they will this early.
I don't think they will either. I can see them maybe if they decide to go running back, going after Judkins or going after Travion Henderson. Herms, what do you think Dallas is going to do with this pick?
I've been protesting the idea of them taking a running back the entire time. Like, I know that they had some injuries last year, but like the defensive front really needs to get better at stopping things from happening. Yeah. And I just can't really see a world in which they pass up shoring that up a little bit. And also now that they've lost a couple of their longtime offensive linemen, like the other side of the trenches is going to be a little bit concerning for them too. So like,
Yep.
I think like building up the offensive line is like that. I can't remember where I've heard this phrase before, but like the offensive line establishes like the baseline of a rushing attack, and the running back establishes how high the ceiling is. So like I don't really know that they have to worry about the ceiling of the run game when they have to establish the floor to make sure that everybody's blocking in front of whoever it is. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. They could do it later too, dude. Like it's such a deep running back class. They don't have to do it now.
Yeah, no, they don't have to do it. And that's a good point. This is a really good running back class. And like there are a lot of ways that they could go. Their pick is in now. Here we go. We're about to find out, Casey, who your Dallas Cowboys selected here with the number 12 pick.
Beautiful. Tyler Booker, baby.
That's nice. I like that.
What do you think, Casey?
I'm behind. I was gonna wait to see how excited, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I can vibe with that. Okay. Okay.
Yep. I love it. We're gonna bring Joe Bond, Mr. Joe
What's
Bond.
up?
I just decided to throw him right up
No,
here.
buddy.
Saw him back
I was
there
gonna say
in
I
the
was about
chat.
to grab a pizza like granola and be like chomp and like
That's
never mind.
That's why I like to do it. Mr. Joe Bond from Fantasy Six Pack, thank you so much for joining us, man. It is a pleasure to see you here. You've got all your Washington gear on.
I know.
Are you excited
just to talk for the Cowboys?
I know. Are you excited to see what the Commanders do? And then we'll get to this Dallas Cowboys pick.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see who can possibly fall. I mean, I've actually seen a lot of mocks where like Hampton falls, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like if that happens, like I'm just gonna fall on the floor and just like that's it, I'm done. But I kind of doubt that happens. I think there's gonna be people who go after him. I will say I love this pick for the Cowboys because I actually think it's horrible. I think it's way too early to take a guard. No way. You don't take interior linemen this early. You take tackles this early.
I think it depends, though, because, if you've got a guy who's versatile enough to possibly move outside when you need him, is this maybe a better pick? We've seen Booker work outside occasionally at Bama. It wasn't a ton, but he has shown that he can do it. So maybe this isn't a horrible pick.
Yeah.
Does that change your mind, Joe?
Not really. He's pretty far down. Like he's still a first round talent for me, but he's much farther down on the list for me. Than there's a bunch of guys. Like I don't know. In my opinion, like when you're here at this point in the draft, yes, need plays a bit of a part of it here, but go get the best player. Like there's a reason why the best teams in the NFL say the best teams in the NFL. They go draft the best player early on. Address needs later.
Yeah. Evan, how do you feel about this pick for Dallas?
I think it's.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was Kevin or Evan.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell either.
It was Evan.
Okay, I think it's a fine first round pick because Tyler Booker's not the first guard off the board too. He didn't go before Mbo, but Dallas really, really, really needed help with that interior to get the run game going because not even Rico Dowdle was good behind that offensive line last year. They struggled with the run game. And now that they got a bunch of crappy running backs, hopefully this helps guys like Javonte Williams do a little better than he actually is.
Well, I was going to bring that up. Javonte Williams, this Dallas backfield is a joke. I don't know why they didn't just keep Rico Dowdle.
No.
No.
Missed you and all that.
Casey, help us out here.
Dallas.
Dallas sports in general are really pissing me off lately, so we're just
could be worse. Nico Harrison could be the GM.
Oh boy.
Oh my god. I know this isn't football, but
I didn't know he was that important to our team.
No. How can you be a GM of a franchise and not know who the most important player, not only to your franchise is, but to like 3/4 of NBA fans? I love Luka.
Even if you don't watch the NBA, you know who freaking Luka is. He couldn't even handle it. He had to leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he was hating it so much, but yeah. So we got Miami on the clock here, and to me it seems like a clear secondary pick. But Evan, what do you think about Miami?
Yeah, they badly need a safety. But I wouldn't be mad if they went Jalen Walker here or even Derek Harmon, because they just need a lot of defensive help, period. Casey, I was going to ask you one more thing, too, about the Tyler Booker pick. Do you think this could potentially be a perfect Zach Martin replacement since he retired?
Yes. Yes. Please. I do think that, actually. I was hoping, what, and yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think that's Nate. I think that's where we can go. Dolphins could pretty much go anywhere on defense with this pick. They got wide open selections.
Yeah, and not fun for fantasy unless you're playing IDP, which, Joe, I know you do a little bit of IDP, but it's going to be a good pick for football. And maybe with a better defense, they have some offense on the field a little bit longer. Carly, I know you need to get going here. I want to go ahead and let you get out of here, but I wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. We're looking forward to seeing you on more Optimus streams. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks for having me, guys. This has been so fun, and excited to see what other chaos ensues throughout the evening and the rest of the weekend.
All right, Carly, have a great
later.
night. We'll see you later. Now there are 6 guys, and as we're waiting for this Miami pick, the pick is in. I want to talk about this offense a little bit. We've got now Tyreek Hill going through some legal troubles. We don't know what's really going to happen with that. Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane. Who are we most excited about in this offense? Who do we think the guy who is just going to blow it out of the water? Is it Jalen Waddle, do we think, this year? Kevin, I know you love Jalen Waddle in this offense. Do you think is he a wide receiver 1 this season?
I mean, Jalen Waddle's like the perfect, something happens to Tyreek Hill. He is like one of the best like contingent plays as far as like wide receiver. And it feels weird to say that because you still have to draft him with like pretty high capital, but people already want to try to write the obituary on Jalen Waddle because he had like a subpar season because, Tua got hurt, all this other stuff about how the offense was tailored to just dump the ball off to Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane for the last 8 games. But Jalen Waddle still pulls like 2 yards per route run. I think 3 out of the first 4 seasons of his career. Like he's always been efficient. It was not his fault that the offense like pretty much cratered.
No.
But like I think from like an upside standpoint, it's certainly Achane that's going to be like the guy if anybody pops off. What they need is somebody to play off of him. Like Miami needs to get another running back. They worked out the best when they had a Mostert to be able to play off of him, kind of like what you had with like Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, where Alvin Kamara didn't need to get 250 carries. He needed to get 180 and he could still be as efficient as ever. That's the bucket you're hoping to get Achane in.
Yep. Evan, I want to ask you how you're feeling about Jonnu Smith, this Miami offense, as we head towards the 2025 season. He looked really good when they needed him to look good, and he got way more involved in the second half. Are you drafting Jonnu Smith at cost in best ball right now, and are you looking at him in redraft as someone who's probably a pretty good value?
For this year only, I haven't looked at the ADP for either redraft or best ball right now, but whenever that comes out, yes, there's a high chance I will want to take Jonnu at cost. I think he's really, really good short-term value for Dynasty as well. And I am most definitely looking to sell him high if I had any shares of him this year as well. He was the unexpected second favorite target, I should say, for Tua Tagovailoa. I want to see Malik Washington step up to try to be a solid number 3 wide receiver to take some targets away from Jonnu. And we'll see if this offense can bounce back next year. I'm not sure if I'm sold on their head coach either.
Yeah. Joe, I want to ask you this now that we're talking about Miami and Evan referenced Tua. Do we get a full season out of Tua?
I'm not sure we're ever going to get that again.
No.
I mean, it's too fragile at this point. Like, we've seen this time and time again from players. Like the concussions just add up, and it doesn't even take a hard hit at this point to knock him out. Like that's the sad part about it. So no, short answer, no.
I'm with you on it. And it makes me worry about this offense from a fantasy perspective because we saw what it was without Tua. Ooh. You got Skylar Thompson, you got Tyler Huntley, and it was not pretty. You couldn't rely on any of these guys.
Kenneth
fucking Grant.
All right.
That's a move.
Not what I would have expected, but all right.
Well, I mean, all
not
right.
Bad.
We're on to Indianapolis.
One of the picks of all time, for sure.
It is one
It's
of
got to
the
be
picks.
Tyler Warren, right? Like
It's got to be Tyler Warren at this point.
screaming it.
Does it
And,
though?
like, the fact
The Colts
should
aren't known
be.
for tight ends.
The Colts use a 4-man rotation since like the second Clinton administration, as far as they love using Kylan Granson and Andrew Ogletree. Like, they do not value the tight end position, so why would they draft?
If you want to help Anthony Richardson evolve as a quarterback,
He needs to help
him a
himself
good-
before anybody else can.
I agree. I agree. But if they have any faith in Anthony Richardson, they have to give him a safety net. What a better safety net to give him than the best tight end, the best pass catching tight end in the draft.
The pick is already in for the Colts.
Wow. I mean,
look, there's a reason why we're here. And
there's a reason why. I don't know. Are we playing spoiler? I don't know on this one. Like the last show, we were playing spoiler. I don't know if we can play spoiler. I don't know here or not. People are gonna yell at us.
Jalen Walker could be the best value on the board at this point. Do they go linebacker?
Certainly possible. I mean,
I had Jalen Walker going to
need-
the Panthers, but a lot of things happened above that messed that one up.
yeah.
I thought for sure the Panthers were just going to go hometown boy, North Carolina, and just go do it. There was a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, when it comes to the Colts, I can't predict what they're going to do because, I mean, I don't trust anything Jim Irsay has his hands in because you know he's going to fuck it up somehow.
That's the Colts way, certainly. I
Decent
mean,
bet, yeah.
no one really had him taking Latu either last year. So
Yeah, I forgot about that pick too.
Oh, could be such a wild card. Oh, I want to say something real quick about the Miami Dolphins pick. Something I wrote about not too long ago. Their defensive, yeah. So they, for people who like DVOA out there, you analytics people, they ranked 22nd in run defense DVOA last year. They really, really needed to make sure that front was going to be stronger to really make a more well-rounded football squad. So go Miami with that pick.
I agree. I agree with. Oh, they did go Tyler Warren.
Let's go.
They did.
Wow.
are they going to give him over 55% of the routes this year? I mean, that's the bar for the Colts the past 4 seasons.
True.
is getting
That's true.
A guy that can play some damn routes and run routes per dropback.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, I mean, they have Michael Pittman, they have Josh Downs, they have Alec Pierce, kind of. I can't see Tyler Warren getting anything below like a 20% target share.
Yeah, like they've still got all the guys they've had. Like they still have Will Mallory, they still have Mo Alley Cox, they still have Drew Ogletree. So those guys, like 1 or 2 of those guys, for some reason they still have the ghost of Jelani Woods still hanging around.
Right.
You know,
I was such a
that-
believer.
Maybe this is finally the sign that they're ready to move off those guys. All right,
you would
like,
think. That's what I'm saying. Like
you take this kind of draft capital on a tight end. I think you're like we done. Like we're moving on. You guys can block for us. Have fun.
well, this also is the same, the same kind of scheme that, we don't want the guy that can get separation like Adonai Mitchell. We want to throw up prayer balls to Alec Pierce in the 4th quarter. That's the offense they seem to wanted to run last year. Like I'm not sold on the Colts as far as like a functional ecosystem outside of Jonathan Taylor. Like even like Downs and Pittman were like one of the same. Pittman had his back issues too. So, I mean, there's something to that, but like, there's a lot of questions with this offense. Maybe Warren answers some of them with, spending this kind of draft capital.
Who's going to be their stable quarterback, though, which is what I want to know, because I could see the Colts bouncing back and forth between A-Rich and Danny Dimes here, because that's what they did last year with Joe Flacco.
True.
Yep, and it crushes everybody.
As a Michael Pittman shareholder, I cried about that.
Yeah.
So who do the Falcons fuck up this pick with?
Omari and Hampton.
Keith Fleming can't jump on a podcast and curse right now because he's at the Falcons draft party. But it's I don't know.
I will text him though.
It's pretty hilarious to watch those every single year.
Yeah, we'll see what the Falcons do here at 15. But as far as they wanted to run out their offense with Ray McCloud as like basically running back targets. That's basically what Ray McCloud was, with like a 4-yard ADOT. Maybe they don't need a tight end. They everybody else is a blocker outside of Pitts. Like it's got to be a defensive pick here.
Ray McCloud got 87 targets last year.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Exactly. Not bad for a special teams guy.
I had Mike Green, the edge from Marshall, going to the Falcons, but
Yeah.
Shamar Stewart wasn't available. Now, I don't love Stewart by any means, but I know like the metrics on him and like just the size and his like athletic ability is like screaming off the charts for him to be a good player. But I'm definitely afraid of him. But I do think it's one of those two, in my opinion.
One of the really fun things about getting to go down to Mobile for the Senior Bowl every year is just seeing some of these guys in person and feeling like a microscopic human being by comparison. And both Stewart and Green were definitely people where it was like, whoa, that is a mountain of a man right there.
Yes.
It's something. It's really good. The thing I like to do, I'm roughly about like 6 feet ish tall, a little over 200 pounds. I like to walk around on the field level and see which prospects pass what I like to call the Herms test. Are you taller than Herms? Are you shorter than Herms? Are you bigger than Herms? Are you smaller than Herms?
It's the Rondale Moore test. Can you ride a roller coaster without a parent or guardian?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
pretty much. Dude. And
That's good.
The most
good.
entertaining one that I had was a couple years ago, just walking around and seeing Spencer Rattler. He did not pass the Herms test. It was very funny.
I will say though, I'm on Gray's Zabel watch
either.
I'm on Gray's Zabel watch with a lot of these teams, and the Falcons, if they need a center, Gray Zabel can play center. He can play all 3 positions on the line, or all 5 positions on the line, I should say. But he can play center. They've drafted a lot of offensive linemen with capital. They drafted Matthew Bergeron not too long ago. But
I like Zabel a lot.
Yeah.
I've got him going a few picks later, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I don't know.
Falcons are really milking this clock, though.
Commercial break.
Yeah.
True, but the clock is still going.
Oh, is it really? All right. I don't know.
Clock will stop.
I don't know. We've got our thing at the bottom here that says Indy still, so I guess that's a Nate thing, probably.
So if the Falcons were smart, I think they got to go Derek Harmon.
That'd be kind of lit. Not gonna lie.
There we go.
I mean, they could use a replacement for Drew Dahlman, but they're not going to do it in the first round.
No. Yeah, they could probably use, like, just looking, they could probably use, like, what? A corner. They could use a safety, or they could use safety probably too, maybe. They could probably use a center as well. I mean, anything else they could probably do later on.
I'm with Lou, though. I think they got to take Shedeur just so that we get more memes.
See, I was thinking that immediately. That was the first thing I was thinking. I was like, Brock, can you see them doing something like that? Just, oh my God.
You know this is bad when Draft Diamonds hasn't announced it yet. There's only a minute left. Oof.
They're gonna Mike Tice this pick?
I mean, that almost means they've like let it slide because Draft Diamonds is usually like ahead of things, and so if the TV is like 50 seconds left. Wow.
So my wife got home and she says we're a full pick ahead of the feed she's watching right now.
Dang.
Yeah.
My TV has 35 seconds left on Atlanta, but I do have there's a Twitter feed that I follow that announces picks way ahead of time usually, but it hasn't announced this one yet, so that's kind of weird.
Do we think there was some arguing taking place in the war room?
Maybe.
At this point, it has to be, right?
At what point are we going to get like the full war room experience, like Hard Knocks style for the draft? Like, but I want it during the draft.
I don't think they'll ever do that.
They won't ever do that.
Not
It's
ever.
too much secret stuff.
They hold enough too close to the vest.
That's like
that'll
McDonald's
never-
giving away their secret sauce, man. They'll never do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's mayonnaise and ketchup. I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
this
so
is-
surprised by that.
Maybe this is Kirk Cousins' last stand.
Here we go.
Maybe.
Pick us in.
It could be. That could be it. I said I thought they might trade him here earlier.
Oh,
Wouldn't
Come on,
surprise
Falcons.
me.
Come on,
the guy
Falcons,
who I
do
thought
something
was gonna
stupid.
go. I thought it was going to be a guy that was going to go way earlier. So I like this pick a lot for them. Actually, this is a good pick.
So, Jackson Dart?
Yes. Come on,
Yeah.
Falcons, please make us laugh.
Do something cool.
You're not
something
going to laugh at this one. It's a good pick.
Man, all of our feeds, we're just sitting here like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
What does Keith Fleming do? It's
twiddling.
actually a good pick. Like he doesn't like curse for 5 minutes on air. I don't know what to do. Keith, we love you. We're only making
Oh,
fun
we
of you.
do.
We love you.
Yeah.
He'll be on this show tomorrow night with Kevin and I for a little while.
Oh yeah, nice.
He's at the draft, or he's at a
Yeah,
Falcons.
yeah, I know. He's at the draft
right
party.
now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Good for him. He's on my golf team for the Fantasy Football Expo.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's me, Keith, Nate Markham, and Kelly Singh. We're gonna take the world by storm.
I might roll in. Wait, what day is that at the
Friday.
Expo? It's on Friday. I might roll it. I've never gone on Thursday. I might roll in Thursday night. I'll be your caddy. Drives a golf cart and drinks a beer with you because I suck at golf, so you don't want me doing that.
I haven't played in 8 years, but I'm actually
Sound like a plan?
We'll need a caddy. We need a caddy. Like we'll take it. Yeah, Jalen Walker is the pick here for the Atlanta Falcons. Good pick.
Great
and
pick. I like the pick.
Joe, you're right. We talked about him going earlier. We thought there were a couple places he might.
Kind of
go
forgot
earlier.
about him because I thought it was going to go a lot earlier, and then it was just
Yep.
like, oh,
And
Yeah,
he
now
won't have
we've
to
got-
move very far, so that's nice. You know,
Yeah.
gets to stay in state. You know, that's always good.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for Ashton Jeanty, Jacksonville native, stay in Jacksonville, but did not happen. Now we've got Arizona on the clock. They don't have a ton of needs either. They're looking for a guard, defensive lineman, and cornerback. I feel like more than likely we're probably going to see a defensive lineman, or this could be the cornerback slot here where we see a cornerback finally go. Kevin, which way do you think they're going to go here?
I mean, it would make sense. They've needed a corner for a while now. Like, just go take Will Johnson and just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, Evan feel the same way about this.
Yeah, it's either going to be Will Johnson or they could even go defensive tackle with Derek Harmon because they need help all over defense anyway.
Sure.
Their defense has been just complete garbo ever since Patrick Peterson decided to retire as a Cardinal, and they just don't hold on to who was the linebacker they got rid of? Begins with a Z.
I know who you're talking about.
This is what I get for not playing with much
Yeah.
IDP.
Yeah.
I can't think of it right now. Yeah, I think
David Collins.
Zaven Collins, yes, they let him go. So yeah, they've they're one of my least favorite defenses in the league, and yeah, if they got many options to go with here, but I think Johnson or Harmon is the way to go.
What about your Hod Campbell?
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, that's who I've got going there.
I guess we're going to have to see here. We still got another 5 minutes and 46 seconds. Let's talk about this Cardinals offense for fantasy purposes. Kyler Murray, obviously, he's a QB1. I don't think anybody's going to question that. I don't think anybody really has him ranked outside of probably the top 10 quarterbacks. I've seen him as low as 9 or 10 in some rankings. Is this the year that Marvin Harrison takes the step? I mean, he was good, but does he become an elite tier Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase level wide receiver? Are we going to see that this year from Marvin Harrison? Joe, let's start with you.
I need to see a lot more like aggressiveness from him on the field. He looked bored. I don't know what was going on with him. Like he wasn't running routes hard. He wasn't like going for the play. It looked like he gave up a lot. I need to see him like want to play football before I'm going to say yes to this question.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He was used weird though. Like he was used as like a way more downfield than he should have been. Like he had a 14-yard ADOT. Like you're not making him into like Gabe Davis. Like
yeah, but
use him as more
still
of a
though,
protecting
man.
guy.
Like,
but we also had the
just
stink
like
of
he
the
wasn't
guy-
like
we had-
running. It felt like he wasn't like finishing routes. The ball would get thrown, and he was just kind of like, it's over there. I'm not gonna go get it.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like sometimes, like watching these games.
yeah.
I was going to say, I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray throwing him the football. I think he's a really mid quarterback as far as arm talent goes. I think he'll have a better season. What did he finish last year? Wide receiver 30, which is pretty devastating for the first wide receiver off the board. So I think he's definitely a top 25 wide receiver.
Herms, I think you and I talked about that he wasn't going to be the best receiver in this class last season after the draft. Do you think he maybe makes some steps towards claiming that back? Maybe he can be the guy from that draft class last season ahead of even Malik Neighbors, or he kind of is what he is in this offense at this point right now.
It's tough to say because I don't know. My big thing with just the offense as a whole is that it was Kyler's first year coming back from a major knee issue, and he still kind of has to learn the offense and everything. You know what I mean? I don't know. Having that first full off season where he doesn't have to rehab anything and he can really just get in there and do all that stuff. I'm kind of giving them a little bit of a pass for how things went last year, and also all the stuff we'd already said about how weirdly Marvin Harrison was used. I think, I don't know, it has to be better than it was. Theoretically, it can't be much worse.
Right. And it's continuity with Drew Petzing too. He gets another year with Petzing, another year with Gannon, obviously. So yeah, when you give him a pass, I don't know if he, becomes the top target on the same team as Trey McBride, but we got to see more out of him. And I think there's just a lot of stink. There's a lot of stink with him being a 1-2 turn pick last year, failing at that. Now he's at a more palatable, end of the third round price, which is perfectly fine. That's still wide receiver, 18, 19. I feel much better about that than.
I'll say this too, because I did a lot. I do an article every week where I kind of look at usage for running backs and receivers. The Cardinals were a much heavier running team, not Kyler based running team than I thought they would be last year. And so I think that played a big factor in it too. But either way, he disappointed. Evan, you brought up the fact that he finished wide receiver 30. Dude, that was based off 3 massive games that he had. He had 3 massive games, and then he was awful outside of those. And I might even be giving him credit for 3. I'm not even I can't totally remember at this point.
And the Cardinals selected Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, defensive tackle.
That's a pick that makes sense to me.
Easily.
I think it makes them a better overall team.
Yeah.
I
had
improve their defense.
I
notch that DL off the needs list.
It was literally so our the other guy that mocks with me, Corey Pieper from Fantasy Six Pack, he had him going to them. I put Nolan 1 pick below, so it wasn't reach. I like it. They definitely needed defense. We all said that.
I think we're moving on to pick number 17 here, and we're about to see more of the same. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. They need a guard. They need a defensive lineman. They need a cornerback. If it's me, I'm going after that guard position. You're protecting Joe Burrow. You're protecting Chase Brown. You want to get Jamar Chase the ball a little bit more. Kevin, what are your thoughts here with this pick for Cincinnati?
How fortuitous would it be for one NDSU guard to replace another NDSU guard?
I knew this is where you're going, and you should be.
Cordell Volson is an absolute turnstile, and replacing him with Gray Zabel watch is on. We need a big banner just says Gray Zabel watch, because this is a great spot for him to go to with some continuity on offense. They re-signed all their guys. We know this is going to be Burrow, Chase, and Higgins for the foreseeable future. Just ride it.
Yeah, they really can't afford a skill position player, and probably in the first 4 rounds. Given what they've done. Herms, looks like you got something to say, buddy.
Yes. So the whole issue with Trey Hendrickson doesn't really seem like it's been resolved or anything.
That was the other thing too, yeah.
Some of these edge guys are still on the board They've invested a lot in this offense, but the only way for them to get premium talent on defense is to do it through the draft now, because your financial resources are tied up elsewhere. That's kind of where my hunch is going with this one.
All right. I mean, I could see it. I could definitely see it.
Like, I hate it as a Steelers fan. I want them to do the dumbest thing possible so that they suck. But unfortunately, they've got a pretty good idea of what's going on. So I think that would probably be where I would go.
The needs of the Bengals seem to fall their way in the draft between Will Johnson, James Pierce, and many other corners and edges, because those are their top two needs, arguably.
Mm-hmm.
No, they need safety help, corner help a little bit too. So like they could get like Nick, I can't pronounce his name, Amenabori or whatever his name is, but they could go after him too. I think Zabel's a great fit here, though. I really do. I think that's a really great pick for them.
He's a plug and play 10-year guy.
It'd be fun, man.
Pick is
Plus,
in
we gotta
fairing.
get
There was something they were saying before like the actual draft started, like that these like FBS guys that go into these, Senior Bowls and things like that and just dominate. There's a reason for it, and they usually have really good careers after it. It's like they're just great athletes, and they're polished, and so you want to go get them.
Unless you're Dylan Radins. Another NDSU guy.
I mean, can any of you see like Malachi Starks coming off the board here? Jahdae Barron out of Texas coming off of the board here. I mean, these are needs for this team, or do you think it's gonna be that offensive lineman?
Watch the Bengals go with Marion Hampton here.
Oh, don't do that to us, man! Don't put that hex on us.
We get
a bunch
another
of people like Chase Brown here.
another Gio Bernard, Jeremy Hill.
Do you like fantasy football? Come on.
No, he likes torturing people. Obviously, we can tell. With this Cincinnati offense, so you say Omari and Hampton. How are we feeling about Chase Brown, Joe?
I mean, if they don't draft a running back, I love him.
Yeah.
If they draft a running back, I think we're in trouble again.
Herms, honestly, what do you think the odds are that Cincinnati goes running back at any point in this draft?
They will.
Rather than like maybe 5th or 6th round.
They kind of have to. They don't really have anything behind Chase Brown. They brought back Samaje Perine, which is interesting, familiarity with everything and whatnot, but like that's not a huge needle mover in terms of like actual help. So I think it would behoove them. Any team that has a remote need at running back is going to have to take one.
Zach Moss.
There we go. There we go. Everybody else see this pick or no? Is it just me?
Not yet.
You're waiting for ESPN to pull it up.
Yeah, right.
Man, y'all need help here. Hang on. Let me
We obviously do. Apparently,
I
thought we were with it.
There you guys go. Check it out.
I'm gonna take a peek because I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a peek too.
That's what you got to do.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, all right.
You'll get them a few minutes early.
There it is. There it is. They did that.
They did that.
When it comes to Shamar Stewart, it's not his football talent that makes me mad. It's the fact that he picked a Drake song to walk out to. In 2025, you don't pick a Drake song.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, our buddy Toronto Dave still likes Drake, which I respect it. Toronto, it's Drake.
Yeah,
but man.
Knowing his character, though.
Is Drake and Adam as a character witness
Jimmy?
in the lawsuit?
Does Shamar Stewart scream like old school Raiders pick? Like they just go
Yes.
get the best athlete in the draft? Like
Yes.
that's what this screams to me. Like
Fabian
he had
Washington,
very
Darius Hayward-Bay.
little production. We did a draft guide, a fantasy 6-pack, and it was kind of a condensed draft guide. And IDP hunter Steve Hungartner, he slayed Stewart. Like everybody else gives this guy like an 85, 90 grade, like because he's like projected to be awesome because of how big and the length he has and how fast he is. But it's like you realize he had like 40 tackles last year. Like, it's not good. You're that big and athletic. You should have way more like stats than what he had. And that's kind of scary.
Yeah. But teams fall in love with the athletic profile of some of these guys. They just don't.
That's why I said the Raiders.
Yeah.
How many times did they?
Yes.
It flopped.
Well,
big
the Raiders,
time
you could talk with some of those older Denver teams like to do that. The Commanders, when they went by another name, were a team that was notorious for doing that. I do think that there's something to Shamar Stewart. I mean, the raw physical ability's there, but it's also like drafting Joe Milton and saying, hey, this guy's going to be our starter for the next 10 years. We just know it.
Well, they needed an edge rusher, so I guess there's that. So they got their guy now. But now that it's 9 o'clock, I think I need to sign off for the night so I can calm down and try not to cry about the Colston Loveland pick. So
I don't blame you, man. Evan, thanks for tuning in with us, man. It was a pleasure to have you. We look forward to seeing more of you on this channel moving forward, buddy. Onward, upward. Enjoy the rest of the draft, and we'll see you around, buddy.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Later.
All righty. We'll see you later. All right, well, we're on to pick 18 here. We've got Joe Bond from Fantasy Six Pack rolling with us here into the second half of the draft. Seattle Seahawks, who they've got a new quarterback in town. They've got Sam Darnold, brought him in, moved DK Metcalf out of there. They need a center, a guard, and an edge rusher. Joe, if it's me, I'm leaning offensive line here with this pick. Their line was really bad, really, really bad. Sam Darnold is not Geno Smith. He cannot evade pressure the way that Geno Smith could. He's not good in an unclean pocket. Looking at the board, I mean, Josh Simmons, tackle, maybe a guy you could kind of try and move inside, but there isn't a whole lot else on the board except
this
for
guy already said his name a couple of times.
Gray Zabel.
Yeah,
Zabel Lodge.
All right.
Just go him, man. That's the pick. It should be. It might not be, but it should be.
I mean, North Dakota State love. I don't hate it for this pick. They've got to do something.
It's the best interior lineman on the board right now. Josh Simmons is a tackle, so that's not what technically what they need.
Sure.
But the best interior offensive lineman on the board is Gray Zabel.
Well, now Zabel's technically listed as a tackle. He moves inside, but he can
play all three, or he can play all five
everything.
positions.
Yeah,
he can play all three positions. So, I mean, for Seattle, if you want Sam Darnold to succeed, if you want Charbonneau and Kenneth Walker to have a chance at even being remotely relevant in any sort of football way, you've got to address this line. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. Maybe they would go James Pierce out of Tennessee. They don't really need a linebacker at this point. You've got Donovan Iziruaka out of Boston College as well. I don't see them going another
Here's
direction.
A crazy thought. Totally off the wall. Like running back, they've got running backs that are talented, right? But they're always hurt. What if they go after like a Hampton or a Henderson just to be like, we just need guys who can stay on the field?
Kenneth Walker's your RB. Let's go, baby. I'm ready.
We all love it when he's on the field, right? But
yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. Get him in the first 6 weeks of the season, you're pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, the pick is in, guys. So we are very close to finding out who the Seattle Seahawks take with this pick. We're assuming they don't go running back, Kevin. Mr. Zero RB, where are you looking at wanting to get Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet in drafts right now?
I mean, I'm not like really targeting Kenneth Walker right now because he's going to go too high at current value, but like Charbonnet is one of the better contingent plays as far as as far as zero running backs go. And you're talking about like Jordan Mason and Dorendo and Algier and guys like that. But yeah, I'm not targeting Walker at ADP, but I am targeting Charbonnet.
All right. I don't really like Kenneth Walker. I'm a known Kenneth Walker hater. I'm a known Zach Charbonnet mediumer. I mean, that's about where I sit on.
You're a Charbonnet moderate, is what you're saying.
No, I like mediumer better. I don't know why. It's nonsensical. It's whimsical. It's fun.
So you're like left center on the
Yeah.
Is that everyday politics?
Somewhere around there. And for this pick, we're going to bring in someone who is from the Pacific Northwest, Mr. Lou Brunson. You can find him on Blue Sky at Brewpie. Gray Zabel is the pick for Seattle, folks. So they do go with the guard interior line that they desperately needed. Now, with this pick, Lou, we're going to go straight to you, buddy. I want to know how you feel about this pick. Gray Zabel, we're shoring up this line in Seattle. Does this make you feel a little bit better about Sam Darnold and company over there in the Pacific Northwest?
Better is a little too strong. I'm going to go with less bad. The Seahawks offensive line was absolutely horrific last year. They couldn't even do shotgun snaps properly and airmailed 6 or 7 over the course of the season. I've never seen anything like it. So even if all he does is play center, yes, this is moving towards the goal. It's the meat and potatoes that they had to do. I still don't think that this is going to be a good thing up here, but it's definitely moving in the right direction.
Yeah, good would be a little much, but I do think you're right. I think it's moving in the right direction. Now, Joe, I want to ask you about JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's a very empty wide receiver room right now.
Yeah.
So they shore up their line here with this pick. But do you think Seattle targets wide receiver at some point here, day 2?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll be day 2. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think Luther Burden or somebody like that would fall to them. But like, oh my gosh, if he did, that'd be amazing. But like, there's a lot of guys here, wide receiver, who I think can be productive. Jalen Noel is a guy who I kind of like. Jaden Higgins. There's a lot of guys day 2 that I think can produce for them. Once you got past the top 2, who they're not going to fall to them. Even top 3 with Igbuka. Sorry, I cannot pronounce that name. Then there's a gap, right? There's some guys who are kind of
who's a Seahawks ass
kind of mad, but like Emaner, whatever his name is. There's guys that I think can surprise later on. So like they will go get receiver help in this draft for sure because they need it desperately. This is a matter of, is it going to be round 2? Is it going to be round 3, 4? They'll probably take multiple, in my opinion.
Jack Besh is a Seahawks ass pick.
Yes. I thought that's where you were going, but yes.
He is the most Seahawks ass pick, and not just because he's like a white guy at all.
Might have a little to do with it, but yeah, I agree. He reminds me of Adam Thielen a little bit, but like that, like grinder Adam Thielen, maybe a little bit more speedy, a little quicker feet than Adam Thielen ever had in his career. So I really like that call.
He's
now
like
we're
Thielen and like Lockett if you like mixed them both together. Like he's got some of the deep stuff of Lockett, but he could be more physical like a Thielen.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can completely get on board with that. Guys, we now have got Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock, 4 minutes and 55 seconds until their pick is in, until their pick is at least due. Right now, Tampa Bay really, if you look at their offense, they're loaded. They really don't need much. They need an edge rusher, a linebacker, and a defensive back right now. Guys, I think that they might be targeting Mike Green out of Marshall. He's the highest edge rusher on the board right now. That, to me, seems like the most likely pick. Joe, which way are you leaning here for Tampa Bay?
I agree. I actually had Donovan, and again, another name I'm not going to be able to pronounce, the guy from Boston College, so I'm just not going to try. But Mike Green was ahead of him, and he has not been taken yet, so I think Mike Green is the pick here.
Yeah. Kevin, are you feeling the same way?
I mean, you could do that. You could also take like a Malachi Starks. Buccaneers.com hilariously had Matthew Golden mocked to them. And
that would be just crazy.
Yeah. And that's
so somebody's
Foster Media is not doing them justice.
I think we might have our first trade here. They paused the clock and reset it on ESPN, so I don't know quite what that. We went from 4 minutes to 8 minutes. The pick is in now, but their clock's all screwed up, kind of like my audio was screwed up earlier.
So I watch NFL Network, by the way. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not a fan of the ESPN feed, so I always do NFL Network, by the way.
I was on NFL Network earlier, and I got shamed by Evan into switching to ESPN. So
what?
Here we go.
I'm gonna shame
I
you
just
for
saw it.
him shaming you. Get out of here.
I don't know.
I just saw the
love Evan,
pick, and
but
the state
that's-
sponsored media might have been onto something.
No.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Dear
Oh.
leader of Buccaneers.com,
I mean-
I will never say a crossword to you again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not shocked.
Joe, should we say it?
What?
What? It's Emeka Egbuka to the
What?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 19. I
Oh.
don't really understand. Well, Jalen McMillan's dead. His fantasy
Ja-
value is dead.
Yeah. Jalen
I-
McMillan is Raheem Jarrett at this point. He's persona non grata.
Wow.
Because they brought
Elijah.
back Godwin, and then
Mike
Unless
Evans is
they're
still
banking on
alive.
I mean,
Mike
are they
Evans
just
being a part-time
expecting
guy.
Godwin to get hurt? Like, I mean,
Or are they expecting Evans to fall off a cliff?
Mm.
I mean,
Or
how
just-
can you expect that? It was a machine.
I'm shocked.
He's like
This-
LeBron James of football. He doesn't die.
He is going to be the best value in dynasty rookie drafts. People are not going to want
Wow.
to take him.
No,
Which is
because he
hilarious
won't
in
produce year
Dynasty.
one. He won't produce year one. He won't.
No, there's no way.
Let's be real. He
So
will
you can
not
get him in
produce
the
year one.
the early to mid second and just reap the benefits eventually.
Probably later, man. Like seriously, like I don't know why you would take him year one. No way. Like and even then, like you're. What's the contract for Godwin? That's what I don't know.
I've got
How
that
long
pulled
do
up.
they-
I got it.
I mean, if you're Emeka Egbuka, I really feel like you're probably thrilled with this pick.
You're thrilled for the offense and like the environment, but your
Yeah.
path to getting on the field is almost solely based on injury.
Is this low key
For
great
this
for
year.
Baker though?
Probably. I mean, you're giving
Yeah.
him more weapons. It's probably
I
bad
mean-
for Cade Otton, though.
Kate Otten is
Like,
bad
kind
for
of-
Kate Otten.
Kate Otten was like,
Don't you blaspheme on this channel, guys.
I mean, he's
can't I will.
fine with the
Kate
group of
Otten is a
guys
route
that are all.
runner, not a
Eh.
pass catcher.
No,
Yeah,
but
we've got
like the
another
worry
round
around
one
Baker.
Ohio State. Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, so like the worry around Baker is like, what do you do when Mike Evans retires, right? So now, like you've got McMillan in the door
Yeah.
already last year. Now you've got Egbuka there. So even when Evans moves along, and obviously Godwin's getting older and more dinged up, Baker's a bit more insulated from that there. And not for nothing, but we've seen Baker do it with turnover back-to-back years at offensive coordinator. I mean,
It's hard
Yeah.
to do that in the first
I don't
round.
know though, man. Like it's hard to take a receiver this early and like be like, yeah, you can figure it out on the bench. You don't see that a lot. In the
Or you
league.
could compete to be the wide receiver 3 and
Three.
get 65%
Yeah, right?
of the routes at best.
going the Jordan Love plan at wide receiver. They're trying new things. Why not?
Stupid Green Bay. I knew that was going to bite us on, but somehow. Now all
Well,
the teams are doing it.
We're now on from Tampa Bay. We're on to my hometown, Denver Broncos. Pick number 20. Running back, wide receiver,
Hampton.
center, defensive interior. I'm going to tell you right now, the Denver media chatter is running back or wide receiver, or we're all going to stop watching the team. If
I
you
mean, it's
listen to
Hampton or
radio,
Golden at this point, right? It's gotta be.
It has to be Hampton or Golden. So I've heard that Sean Payton really likes Quentin Judkins. I think that they might end up just going wide receiver here and seeing if Judkins falls to them in the second round. I don't think that they go defensive interior. They don't go lineman here either.
All the fantasy people that want Marvin Mims to get over 50% routes this season, you better hope that the pick is Amari and Hampton. Because if it is a wide receiver, they're not taking Devon Vele out of the slot. Like,
No, they're not. Nor should they. Look,
No,
Vele
nor
earned
should
his
they,
spot in
yeah.
that offense. He earned his spot. I love Cortland Sutton. If they're going to go receiver, get a speedy guy, and then we can all just bury Marvin Mims, right? Like, forget about it.
He's Velus Jones.
It's just not enough usage, even though like the points per route run, points per target is wild.
You can only bank on that for so long. You have to be just unfathomably efficient to be able to return on investment. You know, for having to draft him in like the 10th round, like
yeah.
This
will be interesting to see what Denver does.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Tampa re-signed Godwin, right? They brought him back.
Yeah. They extended him, yeah.
I've got a guy in my Discord asking they're cutting Godwin, right? Like it has to be out of his contract. Like no, they re-signed him.
No, with like $66 million guaranteed.
Herms looked it up. I am on his
contract. That's what I was gonna say. Like I didn't know the specifics, but there's no chance.
Maybe it was 66 million.
Kind of what my thought was.
Never mind.
Yeah, because he's locked up
2 years, right? 2 years, right?
Through 29.
There's void years and stuff.
28 and 29 are void years. He's locked up through 27, but he's still got $43 million in base salary and $23 million in guaranteed over the next 2 seasons. I can't see you being able to move that contract.
None of this makes sense.
No. Well, this is a great part of the draft, though. None of this ever makes sense. That's
players are made up and the points don't matter.
Might as well be on ESPN the Ocho. This Denver team, this will be interesting to see what they do. We're starting to get into that part of the draft where things just get weird, right? Like teams don't do what we think they're going to do. We start to get some more movement.
Well, Bobby is ready for a dumb trade up for a bad quarterback.
Yes. I said this on the I was on the Going for Two show before this one, and I said I don't think Shador or Dak or Dart are round one quarterbacks, but the Giants or the Browns or somebody like that, they're gonna jump back in and just take them just to hope. And they're going to blow 3 picks in doing it, and it's going to, it is what it is. I'm still wondering where Milroe is going to go because he was invited to the green room for some reason. There had to have been a reason. Right, but there had to have been a reason why he was invited because he was like a late invite too. It was like, oh, hey, by the way, you come also. So somebody said something to get him invited.
I'm expecting the Giants to come back up. They have 2 third-round picks, and thanks to a compensatory pick, and it's primed to come back up into like the late 20s there without giving up too much.
But who do you think they trade with? I mean, because they've got to get in at 27, 28, 29.
Philly.
I could see them coming up.
I think Philly wants to get out.
Buffalo doesn't have a third-round pick. I think they'd love to move back 4 spots and pick up a third in the process, throwing back one of their late picks that they don't want.
Worst.
Steelers don't have a second either. So it's not.
Yeah, but I think the Steelers are set on Shador. Or maybe the Steelers are the team that wants Milroe.
Do we like Shador? Does anybody here like? Does anybody think
he's all right?
I mean, what is like? Like, do I like him more than Andy Dalton? Sure.
Well, that's a low bar, though.
Oh man.
As a person, I mean, I really
God's
like
fired.
Andy Dalton,
That's good.
That's a good.
Anything's about what are the expectations going in? Right?
I don't know if you guys see it.
Yep, I see it. All right.
On my show, I'll let you spoil the fun if you want to, but that's a good pick. I like it. Not where I thought they would go. Not even close. But I like it.
Yeah.
No, it's not even remotely close to where I thought they were going to go. Wow.
But I had him going way earlier, so this is a value pick in my opinion.
I don't hate it. We're going to wait for them to announce it here because it's not that exciting. But I don't hate it. This kid looks like he could play wide receiver for the Broncos, though. Looks like a good slot kid.
Man, they really draw out announcing these picks. It's killing me.
Oh, it's driving me insane.
It's a show now, man. It's entertainment.
I have to give the NFL credit. 24 hours a day, 365-day a year news cycle. There's always something going on, which is good for us because it keeps us employed.
Somebody who has to do fantasy baseball content also, I hate it. Can we go back to I get a 5-month break? Leave me alone.
All right, guys, pick is in. Jahdae Barron out of Texas, the cornerback. That might have been the weakest part of their defense is their secondary. Pairing off with Surtain. All right, I'll take it. I don't think this is a bad pick for the Broncos at all. But now, folks, first of all, Joe, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. God, this has just been a long night. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for
tuning in, Joe. We appreciate you.
And hopefully you tune in later. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Much appreciated.
I might jump back on. I got one more stop. Maybe I'll swing back by for the last couple of picks.
All right, sounds good. We
are
around.
Right? A lot of friends here, so I might come back.
Guys, make sure you're following Joe at F6P_Joe on the socials. Get out of here, buddy. We'll talk to you later. All right, guys. Denver's got another cornerback. Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock. This is my J-Watt jersey.
There you go.
We've got about 6 minutes until they make their pick.
It's you and me time, buddy. This is what it's all about. This is you and me. Okay. Also, I will say.
All right.
I'm also on Jaylen Warren watch, by the way, too. So
we all are.
Yeah.
We all are.
I'm going to say this, though. Last time
take worse Najee Harris and Omari and Hampton.
Last time I was with Nate during an NFL draft, I had the pick spoiled for me. I am going to remove my headphones when that happens. So you guys feel free to continue talking. I just want to let that be known. I will enjoy the moment for myself and then check back in mentally. But dude, I'm nervous. This is huge. This is huge, man.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts.
I have opinions.
Well, so here's my question. If they don't go Shedeur Sanders, what direction does Pittsburgh go here, Herms? I mean, do they go running back or do they go? I mean, you've still got what? You've got Josh Simmons out of Ohio State still on the board. Do you sure up that tackle position?
I mean, so there are so many things that could happen here. I think first and foremost, the quarterback situation is just egregious. Like Mason Rudolph is the worst, and Skylar Thompson is still in the league somehow. Good for him. I don't know what the hell's going to happen there, but then you look beyond it. The pick is in. Oh my God. I would love to do something with corner. There are still really good corners on the board. I've been begging for the Steelers to take a corner in the first round for my entire life. Like Joey Porter Jr. is great. I'm thankful for his presence, but being able to shore that up is great. Safety's still a little bit wonky. There's a lot of different things that we could do, but like, I don't know. I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. Oh, dude. Oh, this is so stressful.
I mean, look, here's the thing. All right. As someone whose Steelers fandom was born of a love for CU, I live 10 minutes from the CU campus, and in the early 90s, they just drafted a ton of CU guys. Cordell Stewart, Charles Johnson, Ronnie Bradford, Chad Brown. Big fan. I'd love to see them get another CU quarterback. Just for the fandom part of it, for my nerdy CU fandom.
Well,
got bad news for me.
Huh?
Do you have bad news for me?
Yes, like Bad News Barrett, I have some bad news for you.
Great.
Do you want the pick?
Let's hear it.
It's Harmon. Derek Harmon.
Damn it. That's a great pick. That's a lot better of a pick than Shedeur Sanders is.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah, it is. It's a good pick.
It's a lot better pick than Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Herbs, are you happy?
He doesn't have the headphones on.
He's not listening. He doesn't want it to be spoiled.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I can't wait for this.
We are way ahead.
This is going to be very interesting to see how he reacts to.
Can we full screen Herms?
Oh.
We're not going to full screen Herms.
No.
Nah. Somebody can just do what they need to do later and edit that.
We can. The agony defeat. That's like the NCAA
Dude,
tournament
this isn't
ending
as
montage.
bad as when I broke it to him that they took Kenny Pickett and he was upstairs. I could hear him stomp the floor.
Oh my god. Whatever, man. Whatever. I'm mad. I'm mad now. I'm just he's a good player. It fixes something. There's a need. I get it, but like Keanu Benton has been awesome ever since we got him. I think that he really deserves to have a shot to continue to have his post as like the core nose tackle. Do it like I don't know. Like, is this supposed to be some sort of like pseudo Cam Hayward development replacement thing once upon a time? Like, I don't know. Maybe. I cannot stand the concept of not having a quarterback on this roster right now. I even threw my hat. Luckily, I had a different camouflage hat. But like, this is just oh man, this
didn't even see it happen. I didn't even know you were wearing a hat.
We all had no idea. We were not watching you and contemplating putting you on the full screen for the reaction.
Not at all. Yeah.
Definitely
don't rewind the tape on that. Don't rewind the tape.
No, definitely don't. Well, we're on to pick 22, the Los Angeles Chargers. Of course, the Jim Harbaugh-led Chargers, quarterback by one and only Justin Herbert, who was backed up by one and only Tyler Shuck, who is in this draft. They need a wide receiver, a tight end, and a defensive lineman. The two big tight ends are off the board. I think we can pretty much wipe that off of here. Kevin, is there a wide receiver you think this Chargers team should be targeting, should be going after, or should be taking with this pick?
No, but there's a running back.
Well, of course, there's always a running back.
There's Marion Hampton, who had absolutely sent Najee Harris to the shadow realm. On an offense, with Harbaugh and Greg Roman, like this offense is like tailor-made for a guy like Marion Hampton, where I could see taking him at like 103 in Superflex drafts after Jeanty and probably Cam Wardish. Like,
I just get nervous.
Totally
I get nervous about these North Carolina backs. I get nervous about these North Carolina backs. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter. Meh. I don't know. I don't know if the offense is like they're great in college, but do they translate to the NFL? Lou, how would you feel about Amari and Hampton going here to the Chargers?
From a volume standpoint, I can't hate it, and any running back that's getting volume is going to be worth something. But from a skills perspective, I think he's equivalent to Najee, who the Chargers already signed, or maybe even a little worse. I
don't know.
He has the raw speed that Harris doesn't have. It just doesn't translate to on the field.
Sure.
Like I think Harris is fine. Like he's fine.
And I think Hampton is fine and younger, so maybe a little bit better than fine.
Yeah.
But from a pure skills perspective, I would take Harris over him. So it would be very Harbaugh-ish. Let me put it that way. Unexciting, eat your meat and potatoes and say thank you.
And then when everybody crowds
here.
I was going to say, when everybody crowds the line, then you've got Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey to just absolutely dominate.
And literally
Vince,
nobody
you
else.
are my new favorite person, by the way. Just want to say
that. What if they went Cam Scatabo here, Kevin?
I mean, do we want Peyton Hillis as, a first-round pick?
I do.
Do we want Carson Steele as a first-round pick?
Look, I'm here for the jokes, all right?
I'm not kidding, though. Like
that would be one of the jokes.
He is like as specialized a running back as you can find. He can catch the ball. He can be fine on like goal line stuff, but is that dude ever going to get 225 carries? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
You can't take a guy like that in the first round.
I like Cam Scatabo, which apparently it's Scataboo. We've been saying it wrong this whole time.
If it's Scataboo, I am gonna Scataboo the Chargers that pick.
It's Scataboo. I like him fine, but to your point, he's Peyton Hillis. What did Peyton Hillis do? He was decent for a season and a half. Also,
got the cover of Madden, bro.
Peyton Hillis also significantly bigger than Scataboo.
Yeah.
So
why shouldn't this pick be Matthew Golden?
Yeah, I was gonna say Golden was out there too. Like that's perfect.
I just feel like that's a waste of a talent in an offense that's not going to use a wide receiver that heavily.
I mean, they so clearly need somebody.
And you've already got Ladd McConkey. There's only in a Harbaugh offense and a Greg Roman offense, there's only so much passing volume to go around, right? So you add a guy like that, like Matthew Golden, and then what does that do to Ladd McConkey?
Nothing.
What does that do to Will Dissly, people? Are you even thinking about Casey here?
You mean Tyler Conklin?
Conk Daddy?
No, Will Dissly, though.
Are you okay?
Will Dissly is better than Tyler Conklin.
Just whenever the time's right.
What's up, buddy?
Herms, what you got?
Real time dynasty trade offer. Let's go. I thought it would be fun because we got time. So
Yeah,
we've been speaking about we were talking earlier about Cole Kmet and his situation right now. It's Cole Kmet for Keon Coleman, straight up.
Kmet side.
I would have said the Kmet side until they drafted Colson Loveland, and now I think I'm on the other side.
Yeah, but what if Kmet gets traded?
To where?
Yeah, I mean it's
To Buffalo.
I don't know.
Tight end to Buffalo?
Just thought I'd throw it out there. I don't
That's
know.
horrible.
Better than Dalton Kincaid. I mean, I
Is
am,
he?
but
Well, we
Dalton
all are, technically.
Dalton
Yeah.
Kincaid is a Rube Goldberg machine that you need to have 25 levers and pulleys just to get that dude a 2-yard catch. Like,
And everybody just crapped all over me. And I was like, guys, Dalton Kincaid's you're overrating. Don't get too excited. Kyle Pitts all over. Nope. Yep, Kyle Pitts all over again. Except Kyle Pitts is better. Significantly better. Even though it's not as sexy most of the time. I'd like to note that the Chargers are taking their sweet-ass time in making this
yeah, they
pick.
are.
They obviously do not know we're on a live stream waiting for them to just, come on, let's do this here. And they're making me look at Booger McFarland, which I do not appreciate very much.
Well, that's your fault for watching ESPN. So I mean,
Skill issue, bro.
Yeah, you make a fair point. Now, if they decide to go defensive lineman here, I mean, are we talking about probably like Norman Lott? Get some interior help there? I mean, it's where they need it the most.
Yeah, I feel like the Chargers have needed defensive interior line help for so long now. Like, it's crazy how they've made attempts to solve these problems, particularly with their run defense, but it just never seems to work. It's so
Jerry
fun.
Tillery's probably still out there.
Yeah, dude. It's
well, don't forget, Bosa's not there anymore.
facts.
That's true.
I forgot
That
about
is
that.
true.
Wow. Yeah. Very good point.
I did forget
Huh.
about that.
So, like,
Interesting.
are we talking Green, Pierce, those types of guys here too, possibly?
Maybe, dude. Honestly.
Oh, I don't hate Green here. Pierce, I don't hate either. Izzy Aruka, who Joe couldn't say earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an edge, but again, to replace Bosa, it wouldn't kill him to get an edge.
Sure.
Pick is in. They're going to make us wait another 10 more minutes. Guys, this Chargers offense, let's talk about this backfield real quick. Anything to be excited about with Najee Harris? Herms, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's Najee Harris. Of course there's reason to be excited. The most perpetually underrated running back in the entire NFL. Not biased at all as a Steelers fan. No, I mean, on the real though, like, it wasn't a ton of money when you really look under the hood at the one-year contract. So there's like a little bit of reason to believe that there's still a candidate to take a running back at some point in the draft and actually kind of have Najee work in tandem with whoever it is. But it's like you can still get Najee reasonably cheap. So I mean, I'm very much here for it.
I'm gobbling up Najee. I'm all for it.
I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but
forget everything I said. Okay.
Spill it, Kevin. Tell the world.
Amarian Hampton is your 103 in Dynasty Superflex. There is 250 carries available for Amarian Hampton. Najee Harris is your new Jamal Williams.
I feel so bad.
The trade that you make before the draft just looks so crappy after the draft starts.
I wonder what the Chargers want to do.
I'm going to guess they want to throw it. Like Kellen Moore style. Just throw
They want to throw it from the quarterback's hands directly into the hands of a person behind him or to the side of him.
And by throw, we mean hand it.
Yes.
Definitely hand
with
it.
With 2 hands or 1 hand. It's 2025.
Either one. Or an underhand throw. That works too.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're on to Green Bay now here with pick 23.
I got my
They need
bottle.
a wide receiver. They need an edge rusher. They need a cornerback. Kevin, which way are you hoping they go here? What players catch your eye?
I mean, I wanted. Who did I want? I wanted Barron. He's gone. Will Johnson is there still.
Yep.
Yes.
But I do think I have a feeling it's going to be Matthew Golden, and they're just going to play this entire game of we have all these wide receivers, but we still just want to hand the ball to Josh Jacobs. That was their offense from their bye week to the end of the season. Josh Jacobs had that amazing run, but nobody was viable fantasy-wise in that offense, especially in the passing game. So that's what makes it difficult to like prognosticate a wide receiver to the team. But they have like a bunch of wide receiver threes that Matthew Golden, on the off chance he could be the wide receiver one on this team going forward, I think is enough to sway Green Bay into drafting him. But they've always been high RAS scorer. They don't care about positional need. They just draft the best player. So
I love listening to Kevin talk because he uses all these big Dawson's Creek SAT words that I don't know, and I'm like, dude.
Well, I don't know. I blacked out. It was like old school. What I say?
I don't know. Probably some word that everybody knows that I black out all the time. But I'm just like, I am enamored by the English language and your use of it. So
The
It
vernacular.
worries me that you associate SAT words with Dawson's Creek. That's my concern.
have you listened to or watched Dawson's Creek? Because when we did
I
the
have.
rewatch- oh yeah,
A
and
lot
they do
more than
not
I'm
talk
proud to
like
admit.
teenagers. Let's just say that the word usage is not. I can't even
The
speak.
pros of Pacey Witter.
Oh, wasn't that what's her name?
How's Dr. Jackson?
Oh, I'm thinking of why can't she married
Katie
Tom
Holmes?
Cruise?
Katie
Holmes. Yeah.
Katie Holmes. Wasn't she
Joey
in Dawson's
Potter.
Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michelle
Her,
Williams.
Michelle Williams,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Vanderbeek, and
James
oh yeah.
I knew Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
Greatest
Also, make
role they would
sure.
be-
Wasn't Busy Phillips in that too?
Yes, Busy Phillips was in the last
Yeah.
2 seasons.
That's right.
Hmm?
See, I told you I watched it.
Mhm.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we just went straight up Dawson's Creek. I love it. It's a show I've never seen.
Well, they do. The whole thing back in the day was like that. He was trying to write it like they were adults speaking, using big words and stuff. And I'm like, bruh, we don't.
It was a
Well, people
whole lot
playing
of
the
teenage
kids were
monologues.
adults.
I mean, in full transparency for the audience, I would like to share that I am more of a One Tree Hill guy, personally.
Oh, I never
But
watched.
Okay.
That's just me. That's just me. It involves
All right.
sports because, like, the first few seasons, it was like the guys on the basketball
Oh, yeah,
team.
dreamy
So
Chad
there's a
Michael
little
Murray.
bit of-
Yeah.
Absolute Dreamboat, American Dreamboat, Chad Michael Murray. If you're
I mean,
watching,
he was in
blood.
Dawson's Creek too. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
All right, so next
Oh, wow.
up, guys, we're gonna start talking about Gilmore Girls. We're gonna go around the horn.
Yes.
Favorite
I've never seen that
episode.
either.
No, I really do love Gilmore Girls, though. It's like one of my favorite shows I've ever watched. I don't know why.
Rory's a
I
terrible
just
person.
no, but it's such a
She
great
is.
show.
Look how this took a big
Yeah.
turn. My bad.
I am going to say, for the record, that when it comes to just the original series, I am Team Logan. I think that he got an unfair shake.
All right, so back to football.
He did.
Can you tell the picture taking a while to come in?
Yeah, right. We still have
Exactly.
3 minutes and 42 seconds on my end for this Packers pick.
I haven't thought about that in a long time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wait, we're watching football. For my money, Kevin, if I'm Green Bay, I'm looking at Mike Green or Will Johnson. Those are the two guys that I'm looking to pick here. Wide receiver doesn't make sense.
No,
You've got
it's
good
like
enough.
a sexy fan pick to take a wide
Yes,
receiver. It's been like a
100%.
meme. It's been a meme ever since 2020. Like since
Yeah.
they should have taken T. Higgins or Michael Pittman, but who am I to say? But yeah, they
But
need a
got
corner.
Jordan
'Cause
Love.
Jair Alexander, might not be on this team in week 1. They need all the help they can get at corner. Like safety,
Yes.
they're perfectly fine at. They just need boundary guys big time.
Well, that was the point I was going to make too, is that like Jair Alexander's getting up there in years. They need to shore that up. I think Will Johnson's the guy that they should go for here. However, if they're going to go receiver, I like Luther Burden with Jordan Love quite a lot.
I don't know where he plays though. They've
Don't
got
they have Luther Burden
smaller guys.
in Reed?
Matthew Golden would be
That's a
something
fair
they
point.
don't have.
That's a fair point. I just like Burden better in general in this draft, but this is why I'm not an NFL GM.
Yeah, like the archetype. I mean, you already have Jaden Reed, who is pretty good at the thing that he does.
Sure.
And you would basically just be drafting a different version of that. I think ultimately, like, what they need is that actual reliable stretch the field, really, unlock those deep throws type guy. Because like Christian Watson ain't it, man. It's not happening.
It's not it. You're right.
Yeah, dude, maybe. Like I'm really, really curious to see what they do here if it is a receiver, because I think I hope they're aware of their problems.
Yeah, one would hope. I just real quick got to answer this question in the chat. Who is that one that was in Bad Santa? That's Lauren Graham.
Lauren Graham. Yep. That's
Lauren
Gilmore
Graham.
Girls.
Yeah, I may or may not have had a crush on her back in the day. She's cute.
He's also very good in Parenthood, by the way.
Yeah, Parenthood's a really good show.
I think we stopped watching that after season 3. It got too real. This isn't escapism.
It got too real.
It gets a little tough, not gonna lie. Yeah,
it does. Now, we talked about Christian Watson. If you're in Dynasty, Lou, what are you doing with Christian Watson right now? Especially if they go wide receiver here, do you think you can move him for anything more than a 3rd round pick?
Oh, if I can get a 3rd round pick for him, I'm so excited. So excited. Because I can use a 3rd round pick on, Pocket Lint, which is going to do more for me than Christian Watson will. And I don't dislike Christian Watson, the idea of Christian Watson.
Sure.
There's room on Dynasty rosters for that boom bust player, right? But you can't roster like 5 of them. They do nothing for you. You can't start them. You can't keep them all.
Right.
So, like a Christian Watson, sure. But there's so many of them at this point. So many of them. So why are you rostering or going out of your way to roster him?
Hey, I've made a living rostering 5 Christian Watsons on a team. Oh,
and more power to you for doing it. I am not that guy, though.
Do you know who they should trade Christian Watson to?
The Steelers?
The New England Patriots.
Go get Pickens, man. I wanted Green Bay to get Pickens for.
I really don't. I don't hate that. Pickens and DK can't. They can't.
Jair and a pick for
Pickens.
Pickens.
No, they
sell
me
on
it. Tell me about it.
Okay, look, will say that there were definitely a lot of flashes that we've seen over the past couple of years where Pickens can operate pretty well in the intermediate areas of the field, not just super deep. He may be kind of like lanky and tall or whatever, so you don't think of him as a guy that can do that, but he's fast. He gets good separation, man. You can deploy them, schematically to do different things, and it'll work out really well. I don't think they cancel each other out like other people do. That's just me. I don't know.
My favorite part of this is you're making Kevin drink.
So I said that if Green Bay drafted a skill position player, that I would take a shot.
Okay, here we go.
And as it turns out, Green Bay's pick is in. I have been properly spoiled. So it is somebody we have talked about.
Okay.
That doesn't really narrow it down much.
Well,
we've talked about a lot of people.
I have no aversion if anybody wants to share.
Yeah, I'm
it
good.
is Matthew Golden.
It is Matthew Golden.
Oh!
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Dang.
If you're Aaron Rodgers, are you watching this draft and just 3 middle fingers straight at the Green Bay front office?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You do it now.
Get me somebody.
You think he's coming out of his darkness retreat to watch the draft?
Me.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious, dude. This rules.
I'll do another one. And then I'm done.
I think you should.
You don't get too crazy because last year I was taking shots of Fireball during the draft and I had to go to throw up for an hour. So, it wasn't the greatest.
I don't remember what I did for the draft round 1 last year, but I know
barely
round
remember what I
2,
did.
I was on a ton of streams. Go for it, Kevin.
Brian Gutekunst, thanks for not totally fucking it up, but I hope we can't play all 6 wide receivers on the field at the same time. Cheers.
Trade Christian Watson to New England. We all want to see it.
That's
Just
Jin,
do
by
it.
the way.
Jin's great.
Jin's awesome.
I used to host a golf show, DFS golf show, with the one and only Bo McBrayer and my bro Connor. We test a spirit every week. There was this Japanese gin we did one week. So I had to go out and buy a bottle of this Japanese gin, and I'd never really sipped gin. I like gin and tonics, but we sipped gin, and I gotta tell you, that was one hell of a delightful experience. So, Kevin,
We were talking about your
salute you.
wife. My bad.
Cadillac of gin, by the way. This is Martin Miller's gin. It's a dry British gin. It's awesome.
I love it. We're on to Minnesota. They have the 24th pick in this year's draft. We've only seen one trade. This trade graphic I made is just completely going to waste, which is fine. Oh, well. Minnesota needs a running back, which I kind of debate. I think Aaron Jones is just fine for now. I'd wait till next year if I'm Minnesota. They need a defensive interior and a defensive back. We've got some decent players on the board. I could see them pivoting to edge, going with Mike Green. You've got Donovan Izuruaka, who I don't think would be a bad fit either as an edge. Kevin, you're more up there in the Northwest area. What do you think Minnesota's going to do with this pick here?
The Northwest area?
Or the North? You're in the North.
I'm in the Middle East, if anything.
You're in the North. We'll call you in the North.
What?
I mean,
Great North.
Yeah, the Great North.
Lose Northwest.
Minnesota needs. They need line help. They need defensive help.
Yep.
I mean, they really don't need anything running back wise. They just traded for Jordan Mason. They don't need anything on wide receiver. Tight end is pretty much squared away. So yeah, they get definitely on the defensive side, or if they're going to go anything on offensive line.
Well, the pick is in, and I will tell you what I need. I need Matthew Golden's suit. That is just wow.
That's Jair Alexander levels of swag.
It is.
Golden.
It is. That's
That
like
is golden.
it's beautiful. That's like NBA level.
Vibes level, he is the wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I
sure I
love it.
saw that pattern on my grandmother's Davenport.
He looks like my Legend of Zelda cartridge from the NES.
That's a
My
compliment,
grandma
by the
had
way. Not
That is 100% a
curtains
compliment.
in that color. And they were pretty dope curtains. So Josh Jacobs, huh? Now that we've got Minnesota on the clock, let's talk about Aaron Jones. Because really, if you're looking at this offense, you know what Justin Jefferson is. We're curious about J.J. McCarthy, but there's not much to talk about. We haven't really seen much of him outside of Michigan. Aaron Jones. Lou?
Kevin O'Connell, we believe.
And Kevin O'Connell, we believe. Lou, with Aaron Jones, how are you viewing him in Dynasty this season? Is this kind of a guy where you want to just ride it out and see what happens, or are you trying to move him now while people are looking at him as an RB1 still on the back end of his productivity in fantasy?
I'm absolutely shopping him at this point, just to see what people think. There's the way this is shaking out. I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of value sneak into the back half of one as guys land in maybe not so sexy landing spots, but whose talent I believe in. And I don't see Aaron Jones he hasn't been able to stay healthy in ever. And I don't see that changing this year either. So if I can get something that's a late 1 or even early 2 for Aaron Jones, especially if I'm trying to rebuild or reload even, I'm at least willing to listen to that, depending on where exactly it falls out.
Herbs, how do you feel about Aaron Jones heading into the 25 season?
Jordan Mason exists, man. I don't know. That's what really trips me up about the entire thing. There's a legitimate threat to take touches away. I don't think Jordan Mason is a full 3-down back type dude that's going to completely supplant Aaron Jones from having any sort of relevance. But there's just, I don't know. It's tough. I think the potency of the offense is going to be the big thing for me, like under JJ McCarthy. Like if he really steps in and is that guy, then the whole thing is going to cook, and I think everything's going to be fine. But like if there are some growing pains there, teams are going to be able to stymie the run game a little bit, and especially, just, I don't know, dude. There's a lot to consider. There's a lot to consider, but overall, I think he'll be okay. But I'm not as enthusiastic as some other people might be.
When you're looking at running backs, like Jordan Mason is almost Gus Edwardsian in pass catching. Like you're drafting him to be he is a 2-down guy, but the 2 downs he does run the ball in, he's excellent. But I think with that backfield, I think they have him and Jones have very complementary skill sets. So I think it works out for the two of them where Jones can kind of be managed like he was in Green Bay. But that's the thing. Kevin O'Connell doesn't use a lot of depth behind all of his players. Like you see all the wide receivers get like 90% of routes. You see the running backs get a ton of work, but maybe they're going to shift that because Jones is older. I mean, that's kind of the line of thinking that, Jones, if he's managed, he's been the best when he's been managed in Green Bay. Now he's got a complement that has a little more size. I think it's going to help both of them.
Yeah. What I'm loving is the footage they're showing of the Green Bay fans just absolutely losing their shit and getting hammered after that pick. Ohio State guard Donovan Jackson is the number 24 pick going to Minnesota. Sure up that offensive line a little bit for rookie second-year J.J. McCarthy. We're on to pick number 25. The Houston Texans are on the clock. They just jettisoned Laramie Tunsil off into the void somewhere else. This looks like a team that needs offensive line help. What do you got?
Trade alert.
Oh, hello.
Let's go.
Trade graphic.
Who's it going to? The Giants. The Giants are taking a quarterback. I guarantee.
Oh, here we go.
Right now.
The Giants are taking a quarterback.
They have to. Like, what else would they be? And for the graphic, the first time in a while. Woo-hoo! Yeah, that's back. It's back, baby. We're here. Optimus. That's what we're here for. We got all the graphics. But yeah, dude.
All the graphics.
So I'm freaking out now. I'm freaking out now. As a Steelers fan, I just I have my preferences of who I want the Steelers to have available to them. So if the Giants pick my guy, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think I kind of prefer Jackson Dart. That's the guy that I would like to see. If the Giants take him right here, I am going to just leave, go right to bed, and sob. That is what I'm going to do. Not really, but like this could be very pivotal for my emotional well-being right now. Oh man. I mean, like, does anybody else have any other theories as to what they could possibly be doing here, or do you think it's quarterback?
I don't have any other theories.
I can't imagine that them doing that to do anything but grab a quarterback.
Does anybody have any feeling one way or another who it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be Dart? Do you think it's going to be Shedeur? Let me know.
Dart.
Does it matter though?
No.
Like, I mean, it matters real life, but like for the silly little game we play, like, does it honestly? We just want somebody to feed Malik Neighbors. That's what we want. We want somebody that can feed Wan'Dale Robinson, that can get him 100 targets. That's what we want.
So give me Shedeur Sanders. We know Shedeur will lock in on Travis Hunter. So you want Malik Neighbors fed? Give me Shedeur. Because we know he will lock in on that one guy and not look anywhere else, come hell or high water.
Let Jameis Winston take the first 5-6 games, pass the baton to Shedeur Sanders, and we're off to the races.
And we didn't even mention Russ Wilson.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's dead to us. I mean, Russell Wilson in this plane of existence does not exist. I refuse to acknowledge him. He is not. He is not Roman Reigns. I will not acknowledge him.
I mean, never mind Roman Reigns. I'm not going down there.
What did everybody think of the end of WrestleMania?
Not great. Like the end of night 2 or the end of night 1?
Night 2.
Not great, Bob.
Yeah, I felt like Dwayne could not be bothered. Where were you, man? Where were you? I mean, that's all I'm asking.
The Tooth Fairy 2, I guess, is in, the principal photography right now.
I guess so.
Yeah. That was weird. That was a very weird sequence with Travis Scott, who I don't think anybody really cares about, and him being like the only guy to come out. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Also, like every plot twist, even if we incorporate the NXT show from like before the WrestleMania stuff, all of it was just nut shots. That's everything. It was all that. Just like how you spice up the variety, everybody.
Paul Heyman got his money's worth, though.
That is true. That was a good time.
Like, you think Paul Heyman was out there just doing curls for a good 3-4 weeks? Like, I gotta limber it up. I can't do Paul Heyman.
It's a lot better than I was going to do, so I definitely appreciate the effort. Yeah. I just had a fun thought, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. So the Giants are probably going to go with a quarterback, we assume, but then the next team picking after them, the Los Angeles Rams, don't really have a plan behind Matthew Stafford, and this is the first time they've really had an option to consider this for a while because their GM has always been about F these picks, let's just get them out of here. Does this board and the way it's falling open up an opportunity for them to do the unthinkable?
The unthinkable as in taking...
unthinkable.
Just a quarterback to sit behind Stafford for a little bit.
Taking Kyle McCord?
Oh.
That might be the unthinkable.
Okay, not that unthinkable. I
did see who the Giants just took. It's one of the picks of all time for sure.
I will keep my reaction subdued.
Yes, of all the picks, that is certainly one of them. But the Rams. Look, you can't go into every season expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to still be upright. So eventually, you have to, look to the future. You got Puka Nacua, who's going to be there forever. Devontae, clearly they're in a window. So if you do take somebody, I don't think outside of injury, there's any chance they're starting this year. They are purely right. So trading up for one.
Well, no, I was they trade up for pass catchers.
Yeah, that was the spot for Ibuka, honestly.
Oh, that would have been gnarly, dude. That would have been so gnarly.
They can still take like Jalen Noel, though.
Dude, I think Loki very underrated
for them.
Yeah, Luther Burden makes sense. They only paid Tutu Atwell 1 year, $10 million. So,
which is, that's just wide receiver 4 or 5 money at this point.
Right, De'Ami Brown set the market. So, or actually, Tutu set the market. He was paid first.
Yep.
But that could be fun if they take a wide receiver. But I think quarterback is like a non-zero chance for sure.
Well, apparently the Rams were trying to trade up for both Tet as well as the tight ends this year. And then we're trying to trade up for Bowers last year. So they're clearly trying to do something in that pass catching room in general, as far as youth.
Oh, there's a trade apparently.
There is a trade. That's why I threw the trade back up. Falcons are back on the clock, folks. The Rams have traded their pick.
Shedeur Sanders, get ready to compete with Michael Penix. Just kidding.
You're not the Giants pick yet, y'all.
Yeah, they picked.
Are we ready to say it?
Yeah, let's say it.
Yeah. Does everybody know?
I do.
Giants took?
I do.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't.
Oh,
we can wait for you. We can wait for you.
No, go for it. It's fine.
Certainly a dart throw.
They got Jackson of all trades. Mr. Jackson Dart is a New York Giant, and the Rams have traded their pick to the Atlanta Falcons. Boy, howdy.
Dude, I'm a little
So we got
mad.
Shedeur Sanders and Tyler Shuck still left. This kind of tells me that maybe the Rams did want Tyler Shuck, and they knew they were the only team that wanted him. There's no reason to keep that pick, so just move back.
Maybe. Dude, this is so. While you were otherwise occupied, we had a little talk about what the Giants could do here, and I mentioned the fact that I was kind of hoping they weren't going to take Dart selfishly as a Steelers fan, But I am also pretty happy with how this shook out. Dart was one of the more impressive people that you and I saw down in Mobile. I
100%.
think that he, especially with how outside of just the football stuff, how courteous he was with everybody, and the fact that he really took the time to answer people's questions even after certain sessions were over and stuff. Those little things really mean a lot to me. I think he seems like a great dude. But even just on-field stuff, he can make a lot of those throws. He really showed a lot that he can play under center if he needs to. I don't think in Dable's offense he's going to have to do that a lot, but it was definitely interesting to watch him pick up those skills on the fly and just kind of like see how quickly he's able to process new information. I think it's a very good pick for their future.
I do too.
Wow.
I like Jackson Dart here.
Wow, by the way, the Falcons, this is the trade. Falcons trade 46 to 42, which I think is a seventh, and a first rounder in 2026 for 26 and 101. So 101 is a early fourth?
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
a
a
good
big
haul.
move.
That's a big move. That's a very big move.
101 is a late third, like compensatory third.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say it's either late third,
Yeah,
early fourth.
late
But
third.
still, that's a sizable move. Wow.
The early part was quiet. We got the one trade with Jacksonville, but now we've had a couple here back to back to back. The Falcons have selected. Are we ready? Does anyone want to know?
I already said
Oh.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Got interesting. James
Love that.
Pierce, the Atlanta Falcons. Lou, what do you think?
That's a very Falcons pick, and I don't mean that in a good way. The Falcons have been looking for good edge rushers literally the entire time their franchise has existed. And I think they're still going to be looking. Like, Pierce is a very weird kind of pass rusher where he's so light and linear that he can do really well in college. And I'm really, really skeptical if he can keep that rolling on the NFL level.
Now, Herms, what do you think?
No, so I zoned out about what?
James Pierce, the Falcons.
I'm always a man of full transparency and honesty when it comes to just things in general. I don't really know who James Pierce is, so I'm just...
Yeah.
That is the first time I've ever heard that man's name in my life.
I hope he's good for his sake and his family's and his future and everything. I hope it works out well, but I could not tell you a single thing about him as a football player. I just...
Yeah, it feels very Jordan Brooks. Like when the Seattle took him, people were wondering, what the hell? Why are you taking him at the end of the first round? Like, what, 3-4 years ago? Feels like, I mean, years blend together. It could have been a decade for all I know in like NFL years. But yeah, that's what it feels like.
I would just like to point out that Carly Manger is freaking out in the company group chat about this Jackson Dart to the Giants because she's a Giants fan.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm a Giants fan, I'm excited too. This is leadership they just haven't had behind center in a while.
We should get Carly back on to talk about that pick.
I think Carly's probably a little house not wanting to talk about that pick right now. I would be too.
It's good content. I mean, that's content we got to bottle up.
Oh, it's the best content.
All right.
But now we're moving on because we've got a new team on the clock here. As soon as I can get to it here, we have got the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. This is a team that doesn't need a whole ton again. Yeah, of course. You know I don't like the Ravens either. Ray Lewis ruined it for me. They need a guard, an edge, and a defensive back at this point. I can't see them going offensive line. Is there anybody here who thinks maybe they will go for a guard or an interior lineman at all, or am I not alone in this thought here?
I don't think there's a guard worth taking here, and they're very much a BPA in the first round.
Malachi Starks. I think it's Malachi Starks out of Georgia. He's another one of those big. Nobody will ever be Ed Reed, but he's got that type of mentality as a safety. I think he's a good fit in Baltimore. Herms, what do you think?
Him and Kyle Hamilton, dude, that'd be kind of gnarly.
It'd be really gnarly. As much as I don't love Baltimore as a football fan, like you just kind of want to see it. Kevin, how do you feel about that?
about
Malachi Starks going to Baltimore.
I think that they could probably use that pick on, I would say, probably an edge rusher or a tackle. Like Vince has it right. I think Connerly would be a better pick there for them. They're never going to have a sexy pick. I would love to say maybe they just shock the world and take a running back, because we know Derrick Henry, father time comes for everybody. But they're not going to do a sexy thing.
Quinshon Judkins in Baltimore would be sexy.
That's what that's who I want.
I mean, look, we didn't see the Giants trading back up to get Jackson Dart, so anything's possible here. It could absolutely happen.
But the Ravens never have fun. They play it safe. They always play it safe. And that's why they're one of the best teams in football every year.
Yeah. Or maybe they're going to trade their pick away here. 3 minutes and 17 seconds and counting here on the clock for them. With this Ravens offense heading into the 2025 season, is there any wide receiver, traditional wide receiver on this offense, Kevin, that anyone should be excited about in any way, shape, or form in fantasy?
I mean, Zay Flowers is always, good for at least 110 targets provided health. But DeAndre Hopkins is very long in the tooth. Rashad Bateman is a big play. Best ball guy more than anything. And then they have a bunch of, spare parts at wide receiver. The Tyler Wallaces, the Anthony Millers, the Vontaze Walker, those guys. So maybe it's possible they draft one later on in the draft, but it's probably the unsexy, up front or on the line or an edge rusher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry is a guy you want in the backfield. Is Justice Hill, is there any sort of handcuffing, or maybe he gets some passing work in best ball even? Herms, would you be interested in Justice Hill?
So I think the Ravens are going to take a running back at some point, probably maybe tomorrow, or at the very least early day 3. So I'm a little hesitant, but there is at least a chance, however, that the player that they do invest in would be more within the Henry archetype and be for the future. Yeah. So I think we really need to figure out who that is before we get excited about Justice Hill. Because if it's somebody that's a little bit versatile, that can be complementary and then take over as some different version of a focal piece of the offense, then that's one thing. But if it's going to be a direct one-to-one, then I don't know, maybe we don't have to worry until 2026.
Yeah, it's Hill is very insulated into the role that he has. And even if something does happen to Derrick Henry, it's going to be a full-blown committee that's going to be ugly. It's going to be Keaton Mitchell. It's going to be whatever running back, probably splitting carries that nobody really wants to start in fantasy. So I think it gets ugly no matter what. But Hill, I mean, unless you're a sycophant and a despot like me who, would start Justice Hill in the league, and trust me, I did last year in Kings Classic for a week. Not proud of it, but by and large, you should not be starting Justice Hill in fantasy. Leave that to the professionals like me, who clearly is sick.
In League 65 of 74, I started Justice Hill this week. Dear Diary. The pick is in for the Ravens. It's Malachi Starks, y'all. Boom. Okay. There we go. Shoring up that Baltimore defense. It makes the most sense. I mean, and now we're on to Detroit. The Lions, a team that got so close to making the city of Detroit so happy for the first time in their history. You gotta love the long-suffering fans of the Detroit Lions. This is a team that has been made fun of endlessly. They're so close, though. Wide receiver, guard, edge rusher, and linebacker here are their biggest needs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they don't go wide receiver here. They've got enough tank. You don't need a first-round guy. It's almost would be a waste. I'd be reminiscent of those 3 years. Kevin and Lou, you guys will probably remember. Wide receiver in the first round 3 years in a row. Not one of those guys panned out. The most notable being Roy Williams Jr., who was supposed to be the next Marvin Harrison Sr., and he just was not.
Charles Rogers.
Rogers,
by the way.
R.I.P. Charles Rogers. Indeed, literally R.I.P. Yeah. I feel like there's no way they go guard. Here, this is a defensive pick for Detroit. I think this is where Mike Green finally comes off the board.
Feels good. Feels like a lock for a defensive pick.
It does feel like a lock. And if they don't go, you've got Jihad Campbell still on the board. They don't really need corner help. I'm shocked Will Johnson's still on the board here, guys.
It's got to be medicals.
It's got to be medicals.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that makes sense for him.
Yeah, dude. Like I think, and with his fall, just my little intel from here in the DMV area of the country. I mean, the Commanders could really, really use a corner opposite Lattimore, dude. Like, it's been a struggle for a long time. Like, this fall might actually really change what the Commanders do in a couple picks here, but at least as far as Detroit goes, like, obviously we all watch football, so everybody probably remembers this, but, like, in case you forgot what happened last year, their entire defensive line just kept getting injuries after injuries after injuries. If they're at a point right now where they've built this roster so successfully that they can do what like Howie Roseman and the Eagles do, where you can just backfill a little bit, just make sure you have that depth. So as contracts get more expensive and people move on, or as people get hurt, you have that talent behind you because you've solved so many of the other anchor spots on your roster on both sides of the ball. They could do a number of different things here, and I just have the utmost belief in Brad Holmes as a GM to just do whatever makes sense. Like, this man has just knocked it out of the park every single year since he's taken over. Like, I'm really not a Lions fan, but I'm like low-key kind of a bandwagon Lions fan. Just like a little bit. Like, because it's fun. It's fun to watch how cool this is and how real it's starting to be. Like, I want them to win the Super Bowl so bad. I would rather that over the Steelers at this point. I've already seen them do that twice. I want to see Detroit get all the way there at some point.
Yeah, and remember he put together a lot of the Rams team that won that Super Bowl too, before getting that job with Detroit. Like he was pretty key in getting the Cooper Kupps and Todd Gurley's, Aaron Donald, Jared Goff. So that's you've got a pretty good pedigree there.
What's funny about this, you mentioned Jared Goff and the acquisition of Jared Goff. When that trade went down, we all laughed.
Yeah.
We thought it was a joke. And while it was a very good trade for the Rams, it was also just as good for the Lions, I believe. I don't think it was as lopsided as we were all led to believe in the beginning.
It's one of the rare trades that has worked out for both sides. So like that usually doesn't happen in the NFL. That usually doesn't happen. Like looking at what both teams got, the Lions basically got Jared Goff, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta off the picks of that trade.
Yes,
and then the Rams got obviously Stafford. You'll take it for the Super Bowl.
Exactly. You got the hardware. Detroit really got pieces that should get them hardware in the next couple of seasons.
Yep.
This is just a team that feels like they're going to win. Go ahead, Lou.
Yeah, let me ask y'all something. It just goes into this team building thing, and Herms, you kind of started to touch on this, is to how many young stars they have and like backfilling, for instance. They're going to have to start paying a lot of these guys a lot of money really soon. There's already been rumblings of them trading Williams, wide receiver, Jameson Williams out and that sort of thing. Do you think they could go burden here, or if you would make sense, especially if they were going to make a move like that?
I think with where the talent has kind of fallen and some guys that are still on the board that we really didn't think were going to be here, like maybe they don't do that, but it would kind of make some sense if they wanted to take that swing. Like I feel a little bit bad for J-Mo, especially just because the injury to start his career and then, getting in trouble with the gambling stuff, that's on him. But like he has so much potential, but he's going to want that money and there's no reason to pay it to him. So maybe you get out ahead of that now, but I have to think that they're probably more likely to get out ahead of those expensive defensive contracts more than they would be a relatively like superfluous secondary option, because like you got Laporta and Amon-Ra, and also Jahmyr Gibbs catches a lot of passes.
They just paid Kirby Joseph yesterday.
Also
Yep.
yeah. So like you got to really delegate your resources properly. And I think the defensive interior makes a little bit more sense, but
Yeah.
they could go so many different ways. That's how fun it is to have a good team, folks. Yeah, like just to have
Yep.
to do whatever and be like, yeah, that makes sense. What a luxury that must be. Good.
That's
for
not a
Detroit.
bad problem to have. We have to figure
No.
out the order of when we pay our guys that
Mhm.
we want to be on this team for the long run.
Well, guys, the Lions pick is in, and ahead of that here, we've got Mr. Joe Bond from Fantasy Six Pack. He is back. Been waiting there for a minute. Was just looking for the right segue to get you in here, right ahead of the Commanders pick too. So perfect
Ooh.
timing.
I'm stoked.
Joe, what's
I
your
might
thought
have
on?
planned that.
Yeah, you may have. We may have been very glad that you planned that. Lions pick is in. What are your thoughts on what they're going to do here?
Oh man, they need either D-line help, like edge rusher, or they need like offensive line help. In my opinion, they have so much talent everywhere. So let's just go work in the trenches.
All right. They're going to get there eventually. I feel like this is going to be a defensive pick. It is a defensive lineman, Tyleek Williams out of Ohio State.
There you go.
Detroit Lions here.
Not the guy
With
I
pick
thought.
number
but
28.
That's fine.
We all kind of thought Mike is going to be Mike Green. It was not. So we are now on to the Commanders, the team that seems to have everything but a running back, Joe. You're up there in the DMV, you and Herms both, so we need to pick you guys' brains here. What are the Commanders thinking here? They're listed needs and definitely a need. Running back, guard, edge, and corner. Do they go running back here? Joe, we'll start with you, then we'll move on to Herms.
So, in my opinion, the highest need is safety and corner safety, linebacker, right there. I think running back is a distant fourth, but I think they might go running back right here. Henderson's hanging around. I think they might go here. Otherwise, it's like I'm not sure there's a ton of difference makers. Like, Amos, Hairston,
Will Johnson still on the board.
Those guys. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of question marks with him, man. I get it. I get why he's not, But yeah, if they took him to want to take a chance, sure. But I'm not sure they want to take a chance when you got like Jaden Daniels like sitting there and like he's a sure thing. So, just get a lot of sure picks around. I think we've all said it a lot tonight. Like the good teams pick just good players, right? Eagles. Yep. Why are they good? Why are they always good? Because they just keep picking good players. Ravens. Why does the draft always just seem to fall to them?
I know, right?
Unreal.
Like, it does, though.
And then everybody drops all.
I remember the year they drafted Hamilton. I ran upstairs. My wife's a Ravens fan. I ran upstairs and was like, what the effing hell? I'm like, there is no way you should have had him at pick 24. He should have gone to the top 10. He is that good. What the hell? A lot of other words were used.
I believe it.
I'm trying to keep it a little PG. But you get my point, right? It's just like good teams, though, just draft the best player. And then in the later rounds, fill your needs. Yep. You don't have to reach for a player because, hey, I need a running back. So, these three were taken. That's what we do in fantasy football, too. That's the biggest mistake in fantasy football. Yeah. You reach for a player at a position because that position went dry. And you go, I have to have one. No, just take the best one of the next player. Then you know what? Nobody else is going to take the running back on the way through because they're all gone. And now you get the next best one instead.
I think, guys, I'm going to say it. The biggest reach of all time was the Broncos trading up to 17 to get Paxton Lynch.
Oh my God, yeah, dude.
The Paxton Lynch,
The pirate,
Paxton
the one
Lynch.
that the Cowboys
Oh.
really wanted.
Here
the
we
one
go.
who
that
was the
sounded like
model
a-
for
like
the
a-
Bucks
Like a
swashbuckler
voiceover.
logo.
It was like the Paxton Lynch.
That was pretty
that
good,
awesome.
Casey.
That was actually
That was
really
really
good.
good.
That was awesome. I like it.
All right, guys. Well, we've got the Commanders pick in here. I'm going to consult
Ooh.
Draft Diamonds to see if we can find out exactly who it was here.
I would
They
like
don't
to
have
speak on behalf
Vern.
of the DMV delegation.
Let's hear it. I
did-
want to hear it.
So I shared earlier, I think the cornerback is going to need to be a thing. That's what I would expect them to do here. But I would like to see the rest of my time to shout out the Washington Capitals on their fabulous run in the NHL playoffs. This is going to be another year where the Stanley Cup comes back to Washington, D.C., folks.
Yes.
It's going to be wonderful. Alexander Ovechkin is the greatest hockey player of all time. And if you don't believe that, I will not debate you because you are wrong. It is true. This is what it's all about. And if you are playing in Scott Fishbowl, if you want to join the Washington Capitals division, I am the eighth pick for Ovi. So you can challenge me. That's what it's all about. Go Caps. Hashtag all caps. Anyway,
I like it.
I
Hey,
have to do it.
just
I'm in
real
the-
quick,
Minnesota North Stars
well,
division,
talking
by
off
the
there
way.
real quick, by the way.
you're close. But Peter Forsberg's the greatest player who ever stepped on the ice, and it's not even remotely
Nope.
close.
Bro, he was
God,
awesome,
it's
but
like-
he's no Ovi.
It's like you guys who never heard of Doug Gilmore.
Throwback. Woo.
All right,
his
well,
golf
this
career
was
is
not
forward
Happy
pick. I was-
Gilmore?
so somebody else can take this pick because this is boring. Y'all have fun.
It probably is boring, but it's probably good for the Commanders here. Yeah, they took Josh Connerly. We've been talking about him for about 10 picks, so it makes sense that he finally came off the board.
Put him on the right side.
We're on to Buffalo, though. Pick number 30.
Wide
do you-
receiver, baby. Luther Burden. Let's go.
What do you get the team that has everything? They don't need a wide receiver, Kevin.
No,
We
they
know
do.
this.
They do. That's the thing.
They
They
do.
do need a
They
right
need
receiver.
another
That's-
wide receiver they're not going to use?
Yeah.
They need a wide
Actually.
receiver 5. They need someone to take the top off the
No,
defense
Well,
and
then
literally
definitely
nothing
take
else.
that in the first
Honestly,
round.
I would.
Like
if
Isaac
they
Tesla
took-
in like the 5th or 6th round is fine, or anyone else that in that mold. It's absolutely
mock-
fine.
What if they took Harold Fannin?
Oh, you stop it. You stop it.
What
I
if?
have a very specific
What if?
landing spot I want for Harold Fannin, though. I want him to go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville.
He can. The Ravens can trade Mark Andrews. Fannin never has to block.
Yeah,
Simpatico.
and he'll get 3 targets a game because of the passing volume in that offense. No, I
Hasn't
want him to
stopped
go to
Mark Andrews from being
Jacksonville.
a stud.
I know you love Brenton Strange, but let's put him in Jacksonville, put him in that Eric Ingram or Evan Ingram role, and just let it go. I think it'll be beautiful. Casey, what do you think?
I've said Max Harrison, but all right, y'all have fun.
I don't know what I think, honestly.
I mean, is Will Johnson? He's out of the first round now, right?
He's fallen to the Eagles. They're just going to bolster that secondary.
Oh no, it could happen though. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do at 32. I wouldn't be surprised to see them trade that pick. This is where we see Cleveland come back into the first round.
What Georgia
Just in
player
case.
is available?
There are plenty. Let's just look at logos here. I don't have any on the top of my spread here. This would be the place I could see. I mean, maybe this is where Trey Amos finally goes.
Do the
So
Chiefs
Buffalo's
take
done a lot of work on corners.
Travion Henderson?
The Bills don't have a second cornerback right now at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be Will Johnson, it's probably going to be Trey Amos. Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame, maybe. I could see that as well.
The Bills.
I don't know,
really
man.
needs- It's really like defensive tackle and cornerback are the two most pressing, and they'd also like another edge. And all the best value is at edge. So I really haven't been liking how the board shakes out if you take edge first. But with that's where the value is, I wouldn't be shocked to see it fall that way for Buffalo. Unless they like Will Johnson.
Izurwaka and Mike Green. Mike Green wouldn't be awful. I thought he was going to be gone about 10 picks ago. So
Same with Ezeraku.
Yep. Well, they're still taking the Bills are taking their time. Let's say they do go wide receiver here. What does that do to Khalil Shakir, Kevin? How much does that hurt Shakir's value?
Shakir is pretty insulated in what he offers to the Bills. He's a short area receiver that thrives on yak, everything after the catch. He is by far the best thing that they have on offense as far as a pass catcher. That, of course, that does include Dalton Kincaid. That does include Keon Coleman. Throw any of those other guys out there. I think Shakir is insulated in what he does, and everybody else, like Josh Palmer, like you can miss me with like all those guys. They're all like specialized role guys where Josh Palmer is probably going to get a lot more run than we want him to in Buffalo because they paid him and what he can offer like as like a real world NFL wide receiver. Keon Coleman is like a take a top off the defense guy. I mean, Knox and Kincaid have their stuff, but yeah, Shakir, I don't think there's nobody you could draft right now that would really hurt his value.
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of I feel like the Bills love him. They've held on to him this long. They keep finding roles for him. They keep finding volume for him. If they win,
they pay him too.
They paid him.
Yeah,
they paid him.
I thought they gave him a new contract.
Yep. What was interesting to me was the Josh Palmer signing in Buffalo. That one didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I just didn't feel like it was something that they needed to do. And at least made me believe that they wouldn't go wide receiver at all.
I mean, Bills fan here, I can kind of explain it if you want.
Yeah, please do.
Sure. So, I mean, the one thing that Buffalo wide receivers could not do in 2024 was separate outside of Khalil Shakir. Like just zero negative separation even. Amari Cooper, I love the dude. Mac Hollins, I love the dude. Could not separate to save their lives, either one of them. Josh Palmer, he can do that, and he can take the top off the defense if it comes down to it. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-world wide receiver or anything like that. Buffalo rotates their non-Shakir wide receivers way too much for something like that. But that's what they're looking for to unlock Shakir more as well as Kincaid more, are those guys to take the top off. And Keon Coleman, he was used that way last year, but that's a square peg in a round hole. He's not that type of wide receiver.
Sure. So I want to ask you guys about James Cook. Casey, I'll start with you. There's been some chatter that he wants either a new contract or to be traded. Do you think there's any traction to that with Cook at all?
No. I don't think there's gonna. Man, that's a dude who, sadly, no. I'm just gonna say no to that. He's one of those guys where I'm just like, I don't deal with him because he's not on any of my rosters, so I'm just going to ignore him and pretend he doesn't exist. That's how we do it, right?
Oh, that's how I do it with a lot of players. I can't. Kevin, can you see Buffalo trading him?
Not for what they did. Like, he was perfectly fine as far as like 42.5% success rate last season on NFL Next Gen stats, and I'm pretty sure he was still positive in rush yards over expectation per attempt as well. So, he's plus 0.8. That was still like top. He was 7th in the NFL among how many 35 qualified running backs. So like efficiency wise, he's still really good. You know, he works well with Ray Davis. Like, I think if they trade James Cook for whatever reason, I think Ray Davis is certainly like upside wide receiver too, with really sneaky receiving work and skill in that. So I do like that, but I can't see them trading James Cook now. I know he wants money. He wants to get paid, but I can't see it.
Well, guys, the pick is in. Quarterback Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky is the pick for Buffalo. Like you were saying, Lou, they don't have a CB2. They now have a second cornerback. So this is probably a really good pick from a football standpoint for this team. Pick 31, the Kansas City Chiefs. Thank God they're not pick 32. I couldn't have handled another freaking Chiefs Super Bowl, guys. Just no, please God. This team listed needs guard, tackle, defensive lineman. I think we've all decided at this point offensive lineman is off of the board here in day one, first round. So do they go defensive line? They've still got Mike Green on the edge that is available. There isn't a whole lot past that. Nick Scorton out of Texas A&M, another edge that they might go after. Or do they go running back here, guys? Joe, what do you think?
Man, the Chiefs are like the most unpredictable team ever in the draft, right? I wouldn't be shocked if they traded out. But if they stick, man, they've got to go with offensive line. Got to protect Mahomes, and because it hasn't happened for quite some time. It feels like so. They gotta go tackle or guard. Like, there's just so many players at this point. Like, I'm not gonna predict one, but they gotta go. They gotta go linemen at this point, right? Like, it feels like that. Otherwise, it's trade. Like,
I mean, you've got Josh Simmons out of Kansas City. Herms, I feel like you're just like you really want to say something here.
It's a trade. It's a trade.
Wait. What?
Oh. If it's a trade, it's a trade. So I'm wrong, but.
If it's a trade, it's a trade. Wiser words have never been spoken.
Then he's wrong, he said.
Many are saying it's a trade.
Mm-hmm.
What was the trade?
The Eagles and the Chiefs just swapped. There was a later.
So it's not a quarterback trade. Oh my gosh.
So because you said something, thank God the Chiefs are picking at 32.
But
now
the Eagles,
oh
my gosh, the Eagles.
The connotations of the 32nd pick, not the actual 32nd pick.
Wait a minute. Who hasn't been picked? That's non-quarterback and running back. That is.
I will say real
220.
quick,
I mean, that are gonna go.
Imonawari, the safety of South Carolina, get picked?
Yes, he is off the board.
Did he?
I will.
At this point, I think Philly takes a shot on Will Johnson.
Burden. I'm gonna give. I'll get another.
No way
Burden.
they go Luther
Burden. Yes, Burden. Take Burden.
He doesn't play for Georgia.
No. Or Alabama for that matter.
Burden.
I do have one.
They don't need defense, man. They don't need defense. Take Burden.
Why
not? Why not?
We'll see.
Fun. It's an upgrade over Jahan Dotson, so I mean.
Well, Herms, you're an upgrade over Jahan Dotson, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it's true.
Does Jahan Dotson pass the Herms test? That's the real question. I don't know. I might be bigger than him. I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. But I don't know. Oh, right. One thing real quick. So, aside from when they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Chiefs have only ever drafted a running back within the first 3 rounds in the Andy Reid era once. And that was Niall Davis in the 3rd round in 2013. So again, excluding CEH, which obviously which obviously failed. Like, yeah. So I just want to throw you asked the whole might the Kansas City Chiefs take a running back? I don't think so. It's very rare with this whole thing. But shout out Niall Davis. Like, we haven't thought about him in a long time.
Oh my gosh, man. He helped win.
Jamal Charles was a 3rd round pick, I thought.
He was a 3rd round pick. Jamal Charles. I love Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles, baby.
All right, guys. Pick is in. It's Jihad Campbell to the Eagles.
Oh, my Lord. Also, real quick, Jamal Charles was a 3rd round pick, but that was before Andy Reid got there. So.
Oh, but yeah, that's right. It was two. Okay. Fair.
Jihad Campbell, though, dude, of course the Eagles just get one of the most impressive athletes in the entire. God, how do they keep doing this?
Why do they go away with it?
They gave up 32, and they gave up 164 to move up.
Insane. That's insane. What?
That's a steal.
Howie Roseman is the GOAT. This man. Oh, very, very jealous of Eagles fans right now. They are having the time of their lives.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of those late 90s, early 2000s Avs teams with Pierre Lacroix as the GM.
Oh,
Everything he did is like every move he made was the smartest move any person could possibly make at the time. Just continually just got really, really good. Now we've got Kansas City on the clock. They're not going running back. This feels like offensive line to me. Options aren't phenomenal, but they really don't. There really isn't a whole lot else for them to address. I mean, they've got Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, Ariante Ursi out of Minnesota, Ozzie
You could
Trapilo
always
out
just
of
go
Boston
linebacker no
College,
matter what.
or you go linebacker.
I mean, like, just best player available. Like, the best teams do. Just go
So
best
who do you
player
go?
available.
Do you go Knight out of South Carolina? Do you go Paul out of Mississippi?
Oh,
do you go
yeah.
Schlesinger out of UCLA?
The corner from South Carolina is way, the safety, I mean, is way ahead. But I get it. They probably don't need that. So, I mean, like, it's a mix of, like, hey, you go get the best player available versus this is my need. So it is a bit of a balance, but yeah. The Chiefs, whatever. Go get what you want. I don't give a shit about you. I'm tired of you.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna do what they're gonna do here. It's the last pick of day one, guys. This has been.
You always
awesome.
have to pay attention to it though, because it's so good.
Well, no. Look, I've been watching the NFL
It's
draft since they
fun.
started broadcasting it when I was like 14. It's the greatest day of the year. Well, I'm sorry. Opening night. I'm really old. I'm 43.
Hell, I'm 42.
I started
41.
Nobody's
Kevin's
old
40.
here, by the way.
I am 40.
I'm
Wow.
still in my
What is
20s. Yay.
Yeah, just barely,
Herbs.
dude.
Herbs, what about you, man?
I turned 30 in June, so we
Oh
can
my
celebrate
God.
then.
You know what? This one's for you. I'll buy you a beer at the expo. No, never mind. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, as we're waiting on this Chiefs pick here to kind of round everything out, I want to remind everybody, we are Optimus Fantasy. If you're watching this live or you're watching this recorded, we really appreciate it, but we'd appreciate even more. Give us that good old like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on our channel. We've got a ton of content coming here really soon. Lots of shorts. All of our reactions to all of these players throughout the draft who have been taken over the next 4 to 5 days. Quick 30 to 60 second reactions just to get you in the know, get you ready for your drafts. Then a whole slate of just fun times. We're going to be making jokes. We're going to be mock drafting. We've got some new people here. Evan and I are going to be running some mock drafts out a couple times a week just to get that out there for you. And while you're here also, make sure you check out fastdraft.app. Use the code Optimus. Up to a $50 deposit match. It's best ball. It's incredible, guys. It's so much fun. Quick drafts, 20-second clock. And finally, if you're going to go to the Fantasy Football Expo, make sure you check our show description. We've got 3 promo codes for your tickets to get you a discount. Canton, Ohio, August 8th through the 10th. It's a blast. You'll get to meet all of us for the most part. Some of us will be there. Maybe some of us won't. I already booked my tickets. I don't have a choice now. They're non-refundable. So
I'll be there.
Joe's going to be there. I've had drinks with Joe a few times. I've had more than a few drinks with Joe. Casey and I had a booth next to each other last year. Celebrated Kevin's 40th with him last year, too. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a
Get my
good time.
41st, too.
Dude, seriously.
On,
My
Yeah,
biggest
here
thing
we
is,
go.
look, I would rather meet the fans than
Me
any of
too.
these people. No offense to anybody
Look,
else.
I
here,
get it. I
but
get it.
but I've met
I
you guys
barely
and I've
want
talked
to
to
be
everybody
me,
else here.
so I get it.
want to meet the fans. I want to meet everybody else here.
Yep.
Please,
And this
please
year,
come.
we're doing an
It's
awesome
super
meet
cheap.
and greet.
Sorry, it's super cheap. It
No.
really is.
It's really not expensive. The flight part isn't great if you're trying to
Yes.
fly in. But
Well,
the actual
flight
tickets.
or driving, that's the hardest part.
Yep, getting
Promise
Canton,
you,
Ohio
it's
is
a
the hard
great
part.
time. If you love fantasy football, please come. I promise you.
Plus,
it's a good
this
time.
year, meet and greet tickets. You get to meet all of us
Yeah.
like we're just pieces of meat. lined up for you to shake our meaty hands.
Yeah.
But we'll do it because I'll tell you what, Dan.
Hey, you know what?
It's
I
still
don't-
surreal that we do all this.
I didn't agree with that. I'm just gonna go do it. Just walk up to me. I'll say hi. I don't need that.
Oh, it's a whole event though. They're forcing it on us.
I know.
Herded cattle into the expo room.
I know. I said no.
What can you do? All right, guys. The Chiefs here. They're still on the clock. Still haven't made a pick. Keep going back to draft
milking
timing.
this because this draft went quick. Actually, you know what? This draft usually goes to like
I'm
12,
surprised.
15.
Yep.
So they're milking this last pick, by the way.
We've been live for 3 hours and 43 minutes. I expected to go for a minimum of 4.5. So for my sleep on a Thursday, it's really good. Except I think my kid's school district knew what we do because he doesn't have school tomorrow. So it's like a national holiday tonight, kind of.
Oh, good luck.
Oh.
Good on you.
He's not going to let me sleep in. He's 7.
That's true.
So here's the
Okay,
question: if
he's a
Kansas City
bundle
goes
of energy.
overtime here, can Cleveland just make the pick?
Yes.
Keep it going. Why not? You know.
And then by default, we roll into round 2. We're not allowed to get off of this live stream. And then we set Guinness World Records. So I think StreamYard will kick us off pretty quick here.
I think it's like 6 hours, right? Because isn't it like during the Scott Fishbowl Podathon, they change it every 6 hours because of the
YouTube limit? Yeah.
Yep. I got Vince Mapstone in the chat. This is I have 3 kids under 5. What is sleep? He has no clue. I can tell you that right now. No clue.
You'll sleep.
All right. Early picks for the Super Bowl next year as we wait on this final pick here. Who do you like? Joe, who's your pick for the Super Bowl next year?
Lions,
One team
Bills.
to win it all. Lions?
Lions, Bills, Lions.
All right. Lou?
I'm gonna go with the Bills. Let's ball.
Bills? Herms?
Well, considering that the entire league keeps letting Howie Roseman get away with theft, it's going to be the Eagles because they just got better. They didn't lose anything really, and they just got better. So why not?
No, never,
That's
ever.
Casey?
As a Cowboys fan, I'm not going to say them. I was going to say the Commanders, actually. That's what I'm going with.
What? No.
Kevin?
I mean, thank you, but no.
Bills,
I gotta.
You try to suck up to me, you don't have to do that.
Hey, Joe. So, just to be clear here, I have no reason to suck up to you at all.
I know you don't.
I'm picking Commanders too.
Oh.
I'm picking Commanders too.
Okay.
We got to get a lot more defense before we have that happen.
Do, but I like that offense a lot. I really like Jake Daniels.
I love a lot of things about our team, but
they were this close last year. They were this close last year.
I know.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda beat Philly in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Chiefs with a perfectly
Here we go. Hey, Casey's up.
Kansas City drafting their new Death Star employee. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. Kind of where I saw it going.
I love it. That's a good
It's
pick.
good for Kansas City. It's bad for the rest of the AFC West. What can you do?
Well,
that's a great pick.
Yeah.
When the bar is Wanya Morris, I mean, anybody's better.
What we got to do is who's doing second round.
It's funny you should ask, Joe.
Or second day coverage is what I mean. Not second round, but second day.
Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. You rolled me right into our end of show promo, Joe.
Man, it's like I know what I'm doing, man. It's like I know what I'm doing.
First of all, guys, you can follow us on Blue Sky at optimusfantasy.bsky.social. On Facebook, Optimus Fantasy Football. On the web, optimusfantasy.com. Check out our Discord server. It's in the links. I had big plans for like commercials and stuff during this show. None of them got run. Wonderful. But we will be back tomorrow. Day 2 coverage. We're not running the whole slate of picks here. But Kevin, Keith, and I will be here for a little while to walk you through some of what's going on for day 2. We may or may not have some guests. This is just more of a let's have fun with it. And guys, while you're here too, make sure you follow us on all of the places. They're all wonderful. We're all wonderful. We're all sage, wonderful fantasy football people. And I want to say thanks. I want to say thanks to Joe for coming on with us tonight, giving up some of his time. Thanks to Evan and Carly for hopping on with us as well. And I'm looking forward to you guys seeing more of them on our fantasy channels here on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Lou, our sage, wonderful social media guy who's keeping this all together for us. And he's got our Discord server going, and he's been live posting every single pick of this first round on Discord. If you guys want to keep up with the draft, check out our Discord channel. The link is in the comments. Every single pick of this draft will be posted in our Discord. Fantastic. We've got Kevin and Kacey, my wonderful co-hosts, and my data and analyst friends, and the one and only, of course, Mr. C.H. Herms, who is the only person in this entire group who has actually been to my real physical home. Just a fun fact.
You know of.
Hey.
Whoa now. Heyo.
Creepy. No, Herms, man. Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone who tuned in. This has been an absolute blast. We're going to get you out of here now that the Chiefs, the Evil Empire, have made their final pick. They got better on the offensive line.